How you doing, Pickles?
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, January 31st, 2021. This is your award-winning Give Our Nation Media Assassination episode 1317.
This is No Agenda.
Holding the line and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we're celebrating something. What? I don't know. The weather. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Wow, super inspired.
They've opened up the restaurants.
Oh, I know.
Oh, for outdoor dining.
It's magic. It's all magic. It's just all happened. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Newsom looked at his numbers and the fact that they're trying to get him kicked out.
I think those are the only numbers he's been looking at. Let me see. I was watching the animated No Agenda that Dame Jennifer put together.
I haven't seen the last one.
Oh, it's a very short one. It was about Newsom, about his, we can't show you the data because it would confuse you, you stupid citizen. Well, we're ready to open up. Everything's pointing in the right direction, but we can't show it to you. And you said, you mentioned the lawsuits. The insurance companies going after the states, and I think that may have something to do with it as well.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits when this thing is over.
Every sneeze comes with a lawsuit attached to it. But the same, not to be outdone by the West Coast, the East Coast, pop into action.
New York City restaurants, on our current trajectory, we can reopen indoor dining at 25% on Valentine's Day. The restaurants want a period of time so they can notify workers, they can get up to speed for indoor dining, order supplies, etc. So we're saying indoor dining 25% on Valentine's Day.
Oh, so perfect. Valentine's Day couldn't be any better. It's going to be a bonanza.
Well,
Book
he's
now.
discussing that. Is he mentioning all the reports coming out that apparently the nursing home deaths are twice as much as it was reported, and thanks to him?
I have a couple of clips on that. But first, let's just stick with the opening part. The Netherlands, still locked down. I figured out a little bit more about the nature of the rioters. You know who the most angry group of young people is in the Netherlands who are most angry about their curfew?
I'm old women. I have no
You'll
idea.
never guess. No, it's the moped drug dealers. You see, Holland has a very active drug system. And it's, I would say a lot of it's in hand of the Moroccans, who, of course, initially came to the Netherlands as immigrants. Now we're second, third generation. But there is an element of that who are very active in the drug trade. And it's all done on mopeds. People don't leave their houses. You don't have to go see a drug dealer. That's not sophisticated. We just text our guy and he rolls up on his moped. And so they have too much product they can't unload. It's a problem in the drug industry. Yeah.
Well, that's funny.
Well, no, it's not. They're very upset.
It's funny to me.
In Scandinavia, did we not have an email that we were skeptical about maybe 2 months ago that Canada was going to build containment camps or camps to put sick people in?
Oh, yeah. Well, yes.
Well, turns out that's kind of true. we were like, yeah, sure, we'll see.
Where are these camps?
Well, here we go.
We all need to do our part to keep ourselves, our loved ones, and our neighbors safe. That's every person, every business working together. And now, Canada's air carriers are stepping up to protect Canadians, too. The government and Canada's main airlines have agreed to suspend service to sun destinations right away. Air Canada, WestJet, Sunwing, and Air Transat.
This is perhaps my favorite thing that he's doing. As you'll hear, they're closing these particular flights, these airlines. They may not sound that familiar because they're budget airlines, because Canada, you can't go on vacation. Shut up, slave, and stay home.
Are canceling air service to all Caribbean destinations and Mexico starting this Sunday up until April 30th. Woohoo! They will be making arrangements with their customers who are currently on a trip in these regions to organize their return flights. On top of these flight cancellations, we're bringing in other measures as well. Starting next week, all international passenger flights must land only at the following 4 airports.
Control checkpoints.
Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal. In addition to the pre-boarding test we already acquire, as soon as possible in the coming weeks, we will be introducing mandatory PCR testing at the airport for people returning to Canada. Travelers will then have to wait for up to 3 days at an approved hotel for their test results at their own expense, which is expected to be more than $2,000. Those with negative test results will then be able to quarantine at home under significantly increased surveillance and enforcement. Those with positive tests will be immediately required to quarantine in designated government facilities to make sure they're not carrying variants of potential concern.
You will immediately be seized. A hood will be thrown over your head, and you will be taken to a government facility. Now, you got to admit, that's pretty nice.
It's just short of throwing you into a trunk.
You almost want to test positive so you don't have to pay the $2,000. I mean, geez. Just the whole idea of, and I don't understand. We have the same.
How do the Canadians put up with this nonsense?
Well, they're docile. But, the world is opening up, and you have all these. We have the same variants. We have the same vaccine rollout problems as everybody, although EU seems to be a little bit worse now. But how come people are locked up and we're opening up again? The inconsistency cannot be lost on the global internet surfers who do read
somebody's
stuff.
Got to mention maybe Trudeau's never read in. He's reading from the old paperwork.
Which paperwork?
No, they probably have a number of memos going around. I have to play this series of clips right at the beginning to get this out of the way, because I think it applies to all these things that we're going to discuss. And this is this group, the American Frontline Doctors.
Ah, yes. Excellent. I saw you had these clips. I can't wait.
This is the group that kept bringing stuff out and kept being taken down by YouTube. Right. It's like 50,000 doctors, or at least 10,000.
Simone
There's
Gold?
A bunch of them.
Is that her name? Dr. Simone
Gold.
Yeah, that one.
And she gave a very nice little presentation in front of one of their conventions, and they have to put it on their own website.
Hold on. What convention? They have conventions?
They had a meetup, yeah. Big one. Big auditorium.
But this is interesting because America's frontline doctors we were told, were just a bunch of crazy religious nuts in strip malls working as doctors, and they were conspiracy theorists and science deniers, and yet they have meetups with 50,000. What did you say?
Well, I think the number in this group is like 10,000, but it's maybe more. They've signed a lot of documents. They've done a lot to get back on. They got kicked off of YouTube and everything
immediately.
In between.
Yeah, almost immediately.
And they're cropping up all over the place. It's not a small group. And they had this convention. It's like a convention. This big auditorium filled with people, and a bunch of lecturers coming out. And this Simone, she talked for a long time. I only picked up 4 clips, fairly short, but all meaningful. And there's nothing radical or weird about anything she has to say. She's just, in fact, this and some other clips I have, all it's starting to do now is make our show back in March
sound like we're geniuses?
Yeah, because we had all this stuff because it was all available. It was in the public domain. This information is not new.
And let's be honest, we are archivists at heart. That's what we do. We collect it, we share it, we categorize.
Fortunately or unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, when the pile falls over, we both die. But yeah, this is I like this I don't like it because we were lied to. Everyone was lied to. But it is usually it takes 5 to 7 years before what we said comes out to be true. So I like 5 to 7 months. I'll take those odds. That's much more fun.
So let's listen to the AFL doctors. There is a link in the show notes with these clips.
Yeah.
For the whole speech, actually. And this is the opening.
And I come before you on behalf of America's Frontline Doctors, which is a volunteer physician organization that we started specifically to combat the serious and life-threatening disinformation campaign that has really taken over America and really the entire globe. It's very, very scary stuff. I've been a doctor for a long time. Before me, my father is a doctor. I've never seen anything like this, where we have groups of physicians or scientists and government bureaucrat agencies essentially lying to the American people and people across the world. I have many, many examples. One brief example I'll give you is that the National Institute of Health right now has as its policy recommendation for patients with COVID-19 stating that unless you're in the hospital requiring oxygen, there's no actual treatment available for you. That is a complete falsehood. Completely false. In most of the world, non-first world countries, there's plenty of treatment easily available, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin. Here in America, if you can find a doctor to prescribe it, you get those medicines, or budesonide. There's many options, and this disinformation is why we came public. When we started to speak out around July, a little bit sooner, but we got a lot of attention starting in July, we were promptly, as the pastor said, deplatformed, and it doesn't bother me so much. I know the information. It bothers me tremendously on behalf of all of humanity, right? This is a crime against humanity. There's a physician in the Netherlands who's bringing a lawsuit in The Hague, calling it that, calling this a crime against humanity. There was a lot of information you haven't heard. There was a Senate testimony about a month ago. A bunch of doctors went and testified. I believe it was Senator Johnson as the chairman. You can find it on our website, americasfrontlinedoctors.com. But the doctors testified that the vast majority of deaths in America would have not ever happened. Not ever happened.
Fake news! She's lying, denying science. Wow. Do we have any disparaging clips from the mainstream about them? I'm sure we had tons, but I don't remember.
I don't know. They actually kind of just, once they got deplatformed.
Yeah. I thought we had some.
Don't listen to them. Nobody says anything because none of these people that are in this group are not doctors,
right,
and practicing doctors. And a lot of them do a lot of research, including this woman. So let's go to part 2.
The disinformation was apparent since the beginning, right? We call this illness COVID-19, but its real name should be after the location from where it arose, which is Wuhan, China. And if you remember, it was called the Wuhan virus for a while, I don't know, a month or so, before we discovered the Chinese Communist Party didn't like that name. They set about putting a lot of pressure on media and other, politicians, let's say, to change it, and they started calling it the coronavirus. They called it the coronavirus because it is actually a coronavirus, but that became very confusing to doctors and scientists because there are 7 coronaviruses. This is just number 7. So we used to use the word coronavirus sometimes on our charts when we meant a common cold. A person would come into the ER in my case, and they just had a common cold, and I would sometimes write coronavirus on the chart as the diagnosis. So it was pretty confusing for doctors and scientists to call it the coronavirus, right? So they had to change the name again, and it became known by its acronym Coronavirus Disease 2019, COVID-19. I have to start there because it was never a racist or weird thing to call it the Wuhan virus, right? There's so many diseases that are named after the location from which they arise. There's Zika and Ebola. There's Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever, Lyme disease. I mean, the list is endless. German measles, Spanish flu. This list is endless. So you need to understand that deception was there from the very beginning. So that was the first big lie.
Oh, they're doing big lie too. Everyone's accusing the other of being a Nazi in a way.
Everyone's a big liar.
Everyone's a big liar.
Well, let's go to, this is a longer clip, and it brings down some very interesting things.
The next big lie, the next big popular, well-known lie was the maligning of this common, ordinary, cheap, safe medication called hydroxychloroquine.
Right.
Those of you who've traveled abroad, who've taken mission trips, for example, or anybody in the military are quite familiar with this drug. Doctors would just give it out, like candy. I know that I was going to take a holiday to Africa about 20 years ago, and I was a medical student at the time, and they just handed me the pills. Here you go. I never asked any questions. It was a big fat nothing burger, taking hydroxychloroquine. All of a sudden, we started hearing as doctors, that hydroxychloroquine was unsafe. You can't understand what's going on with the lies until you understand what an enormous lie this is. Hydroxychloroquine is over the counter in much of the world. It's taken in many African nations. They call it Sunday medicine because you take it every Sunday, right? That's like its name, Sunday. People keep it in their pocket the way Americans might keep a Tylenol in their purse. It's absolutely ordinary stuff. It was over the counter really in any country which had malaria or any country that had citizens that would visit malaria countries on holiday. It was over the counter. For example, it was over the counter in France. The only reason it wasn't over the counter in America is there just wasn't a consumer demand, right? In America, we use hydroxychloroquine for two main reasons. That's lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, and also for malaria for people going on holiday. But generally, it's lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. And for those illnesses, patients regularly see physicians so they can get a prescription for it. That's why it was never over the counter here. Not because it was unsafe. It's been FDA approved for 65 years. We give it to babies. We give it to children. We give it to pregnant women. We give it to nursing mothers. We give it to the elderly, and we give it to the immune compromised. Those last two categories take this medication for decades. There was never a pretense that it's not safe. That's the drug that you've been hearing about for 9 months now, 10 months, telling you it's unsafe. It's an incredible lie of incredible proportions. Once you understand that, you will be suspicious of everything that follows. So that's where I found myself. There I was in the emergency department, treating patients as they came in with COVID-19. And once we had the rapid test so I can confirm the diagnosis, my first patient, who I needed to give hydroxychloroquine and zinc to, I did it, and even knowing the kind of the controversy, I really didn't think twice about it. I don't know. It was fine. I gave it to her. I actually called her the next day. She was so much better. She herself got better within about 12 hours. In about 48 hours, she was essentially completely well. This completely matched what I had read in the scientific literature. I knew many doctors who had done this. I'd read many journal articles. It was completely consistent. What was really shocking and completely inconsistent was my medical director, who calls me the next day and threatens to fire me for doing this treatment. It was. I can't even tell you even as I describe this moment to you, it's shocking to me. I remember the case, the situation, the conversation.
Scooby-Doo, can't take the HQ. It might be powerful to just skip back for 50 seconds of Fauci back in the day.
Yeah, play it.
I'm not so sure it should be banned, but clearly the scientific data is really quite evident now about the lack of efficacy for it, and even the possibility that there could be, not could be, but there's, the likelihood that under certain circumstances might be rare, but you'd see it, adverse events, particularly with regard to cardiovascular and the arrhythmias that may be associated with it. I mean, there was suspicion of that for a while, but as data comes in, it becomes more clear. So I'm not so sure you'd want to ban it, but certainly the data are clear right now. When we first developed the vaccine, I said it was...
All right, then he goes into promoting the vaccine, which he says will be there by January, which he was right about, because this is pretty much set up the way they did that. It's crazy.
Fauci always has, if you listen to him carefully, he always has an out. The way he, if you called him out on this now, he would say, well, I was talking about chloroquine.
Yeah, not hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, exactly. He'd do something like that.
Yeah, he's a kind of a douchebag.
Let's get
back to this woman.
Kind of. Okay.
So this woman, she's getting threatened to be fired by this guy, and then she finishes the story.
And he's saying he's going to fire me. And I said, why would you fire me over this? Well, I don't think it works. I said, well, then don't prescribe it. You haven't read the science the way I have. I know it works. You'll change your mind in a couple of months when, you get a little wiser. But why would you get involved with me treating a patient? You do your thing, I do my thing. That's how medicine is practiced. We are licensed as individuals. It's actually against the law to have what's called a corporate practice of medicine where, corporation practice is for you. It has to be the individual doctor's physician. That's why patients go to multiple doctors, right? No. And really, almost the worst part of the conversation was not even that he was ignorant that the drug worked, but his reasons for saying that he was going to fire me if I did this. And the reason, which he put in writing because he wasn't so smart, he said it was because the biggest payer at that hospital, which is a large insurance company that everyone here has heard of, that's back on the West Coast mainly, didn't want us to prescribe it. They were blocking it. So that payer, insurance company, was pressuring the hospital that their doctor shouldn't do it. It had nothing to do with even if he thought it was good or bad for the patient. It all had to do with money and payment, which was, I still can't believe I'm relating this story. It was really unbelievable. So he said I could never do that again. I said, well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
And you know who that was?
Who the doctor was?
The insurance company.
Yeah, which insurance company or what? I don't.
Do you know which insurance company it might have been? The biggest in California, Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Oh, wow. That's what they said, huh?
No, she never said it. She wouldn't say the name. But when she says the big insurance company in California, I live in California. I know which one it is.
Yeah.
It's Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And they do a lot.
So they're somehow behind the whole thing because they see the money. There's money to be made. Somehow.
Well, we know
by
that
not treating people.
Correct. Well, yes, there was much more money to be made by treating people by sticking a tube down their throat. We know that. There was much more money to be made in the pharmaceutical vaccine industry versus promoting therapeutics. We understand that as well. But there were premiums on COVID patients for the insurance and for Medicare. There were actual premiums on get someone in for COVID. They test positive. You get more. Get them in a separate wing. You get more. Throw them on a vent. Bingo.
This was very well documented. And then the one time Trump brought it up, he was ridiculed by the media.
Yeah. Yeah.
He brought it up once. Bull crap.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about that clip to me, besides the fact that it keeps dredging up the same stuff we talked about in March, is that it does one thing. It explains the fact that a country like Nigeria, with half our population, 150 million people, has less than 2,000 deaths, and we have over 400,000.
Yes, and the UK also has very high numbers. Please mind that the numbers today are PIC. They are combined numbers of pneumonia, influenza, and COVID.
I don't care if they're combined or not. They're too high.
Yeah. In the UK,
and if what she says is true, that one of the big, the National Institute of Medicine, whoever it was, says that no, there's no treatment. Don't treat them.
Yeah.
And then they die. I mean, we get over 400,000 dead. Why? Again, I asked this question. I've asked it before. Why does the United States have the number one? Why are we way at the top of the list for dead? When in Africa, there's countries that have like 100.
Yeah, but luckily they found a variant in South Africa, so that makes everybody feel like, oh, good, the Africans got it too. Having no idea.
Take a look at the South African deaths. The variant's not doing a lot of damage down there.
But that's are we talking about facts or media bullshit here? I mean, that's the entire difference. That's the crux of the show. The story is we're all going to die. That's just the story. In the UK, they have, I think it's now up to 90,000 deaths. And right there on the placard, right there on the sign, it says in small little letters and parentheses, all deaths that tested COVID positive in the last 28 days. That's their death number. So it's all deaths, as long as they can show some COVID positivity, which, as we know, is not that hard. We've documented that
on this show to an extreme.
And did the frontline doctors, did you watch the whole thing, the whole conference?
I didn't watch the whole conference, but I watched most of this woman's presentation. It really makes your blood boil to listen to it.
Did she circle back on the bull crap PCR that they've turned into a test?
I don't remember that. She circled back. She circled back on the fact that this experimental vaccine is probably not good for kids.
Well, there's a lot changing with testing, which is, someone listened to you, someone listened to this show and carried out your wish, and I'm very confused by it. You remember
that was my wish.
Do you remember the clip about people testing positive for HIV after the vaccine in Australia? And you said maybe twice or three times, you said you should make everybody get a COVID and an HIV test.
Oh, yes, I did say that quite a few times.
Tomorrow, January 29th, I'm reading this from 2 days ago, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there will be free COVID-19 and HIV testing in the open lot adjacent to Fleet Fields in Chicago. Why?
Huh.
Why?
Yeah, I would ask the same. Why?
It's drive up, walk up.
Well, since we're here,
it's drive up, walk up, COVID-19 and HIV testing, face mask and PPE giveaway, and Narcan education. It's a trifecta of epic proportions.
Well,
I just thought that was rather interesting. Testing moving in new areas, innovation on its way.
No more long lines or appointments for a COVID test. Soon they will be available in a vending machine.
Woo!
Grocery stores, shopping malls, airports, and subway stations.
The company Wellness for Humanity unveiled the first machine in New York. Customers purchase the $119 test online and are sent a barcode, which is scanned.
Simply place it in front of the vending machine.
Seconds later, the box pops out. Inside is a saliva test that can be done at home and shipped off to a lab. Once received, results take 1 or 2 days. They're advertised to be 99% accurate. The company plans to roll out 1,000 of the machines in locations across the country over the next 6 months.
This is rather new, saliva test. I know that there's been talk of them, but I don't think any regular test, and $150? What are they doing? Seems a bit much. And then we have, the Biden administration is really fun to watch. There's so much confusion. A lot of people don't know really what's going on or why things are happening, and it's flustering. Jen Psaki is getting flustered from time to time. And it's also contradictory. And the press, they'll ask a question and they'll get the answer, but we don't see the amplified, oh my God, this is horrible, that we saw during the previous administration. Whereas the answers are still pretty crazy sometimes. I mean,
any examples of that?
The double masking, triple masking. There's confusing talk.
Just one on double masking. There's been some increased discussion about that publicly. We've seen pictures of the president double masking and those around him. Is that a personal preference, or has he been advised by medical advisors to do that?
Well, you're going to talk to the medical advisors in just the next 15, 30 minutes, whatever the time is, and you can ask them more specifically. There hasn't been specific CDC guidance. As you have probably seen, Dr. Fauci spoke to this, I believe, in the last couple of days and said it was common sense or made sense. I can't remember exactly how he phrased it.
Okay. So this is Jen Psaki, who is always on point, has every quote. She was trained by Newland. She is a Hillary disciple. This is not her typical answer, where I think Fauci has said this. We must have heard him say it 50 times. It's common sense. It's just common sense. And now she's like, yeah, it's common sense or good sense or whatever he said. It's Fauci.
Spoke to this, I believe, in the last couple of days and said it was common sense or made sense. I can't remember exactly how he phrased it. But there hasn't been additional medical guidance given. I've been around the president where he's been wearing one mask. I think obviously he abides by the health and medical advice. Sometimes, not to get too detailed, but it looks like two masks sometimes because we put the N95 one on. It's a little bit more comfortable to have this one on top of it. But I would encourage you to ask the health and medical team during the call that's coming up.
That is literally double masking. And we've seen it. They put an N95 on and then the black cloth mask over it. But she's not what you're. That's not. She's not calling that double masking. No. That's not. That's confusing.
Well, that's idiotic. But I've got a bunch of clips on masking.
Oh, good. Let me play this one, and I want to hear yours because I don't know which health official this is from the Biden administration. I'm very annoyed I can't find out. But this was in an official capacity. This answer came about double and triple masking.
In terms of using the face cloth coverings, doubling them, actually we need to be very careful about that. That may actually be counterproductive, not helpful. We know, and I'm not an aerobiologist, but we know that in fact they may actually impede the movement of air in and out, and causing it to actually escape in the big crevices between the cloth and your face. That's a bigger problem, not a lesser problem than one.
And I think what he was talking about was having two cloth masks. So this is the least scientific discussion I've heard during this whole thing.
The last show we had that talks about the marks. You have to have face marks.
The marks.
Scars on your face.
Yes, that's the N95. But the double masking, they haven't had a technical conversation about it. It's just being said by Fauci. Now tell us.
Fauci usually doesn't even wearing a mask, but it seems that the consensus is the following, because I was confused about this in the last show. The consensus for double masking, or, as one person put it, triple masking,
yum,
as predicted, is that you put the surgical mask on, and because that thing is leakable, it leaks. That's the one. When I go into public places in California, I wear a surgical mask because for the reason that it does leak. You can actually breathe.
You can breathe, yes. Now, when you say surgical mask, you mean the blue surgical mask, yeah?
Yeah, the blue one. Although there's the cool black one that Amazon has been selling.
Also surgical?
Mimi bought a bunch of them. It makes you look like a Taliban. It's a great-looking mask.
Is it also surgical, or is it just a plain
No, it's a surgical. I got one here, and it's exactly the same, only it's black. Obviously, it's just some gimmick. And you're supposed to put the surgical mask on, then you put a cloth mask over it to seal those edges where it allows you to actually get air in. I'm surprised people aren't just falling down, passed out.
Of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, carbon now or just no air at all.
Exactly.
Dumbest thing I've ever seen. But let's play. This is Mask Up 1 on PBS.
That's the main way people get sick. Someone who's infected breathes out the virus, and someone who's healthy breathes it in. Dr. Lindsay Marr at Virginia Tech studies airborne transmission, and she says the coronavirus can travel on small airborne droplets or even smaller aerosols.
Droplets are large, visible droplets that fly out of our mouths when we're coughing or talking. Aerosols are really just smaller droplets. They're microscopic, and we release hundreds of those for every one large droplet that might come out.
But according to Aaron Bromage, who researches immunology and infectious disease at UMass Dartmouth, not everyone who's infected spreads the virus the same way or in the same amounts.
And we know that some people have a lot more virus, and it's not just twice amount. It can be 100-fold or 1,000-fold more virus inside their mouth.
Virus.
And so those people with talking, with singing, with shouting, breathing for that matter.
You have virus in your mouth. Who are these experts? Please tell me they're very smart people, because I want to ridicule them eventually.
Can release 1,000 times more of those viral particles into the air.
With these new mutant strains, it's not totally clear why they're more contagious, only that they are. This only reinforces the need for mask wearing. Numerous studies have now confirmed that wearing a mask can reduce the risk of transmission, but not all masks are created equally.
So virtually any covering over your face will deal with those large droplets. You know, a handkerchief, a bandana, they all deal with those large droplets in roughly the same way. But there is a big difference between the quality of the mask being worn and the ability to both filter the small little aerosols out on the way out and filter them on the way back in.
There's still a great deal of confusion about what kinds of masks offer the best protection. N95s are considered tops, but since they're still in short supply, many say they should be left only for frontline healthcare workers. KF94 masks, like these made in South Korea, are considered a good substitute, and while they can be found online, there are reports of fakes and counterfeits swirling around.
Oh, no!
So what's the consumer to do?
What bothers me about all these reports is they're not talking about mask or no mask, the efficacy of any mask. Now they've convinced us to argue about which mask and how you wear it. This truly is dumb.
You think?
Yeah. And
the worst part is that now all of a sudden, I think that what the public really finds distasteful is the contradictory information.
Yes.
We heard in the last show and the show before, all these guys now turning to, we got to all be hooked up with N95s and get face scars. Now, this is the most recent episode here, and it says, well, maybe the N95 should be only for the people working in the hospitals.
Right, which is what it was initially, too.
That's the way it was, right.
Yeah.
And so, can they make it...
Let me ask you this. So these surgical masks, the blue surgical masks, these are really... The surgeons wear them once, and they throw them away. And what makes them blue, and I know I'm talking to the right guy, is PTFE, also known as polytetrafluoroethylene, fluoroethylene, and which I'm sure is perfectly safe to wear the mask once. But if you're hawking and breathing and sliming and snotting in this mask for a week, please tell me
what's your problem.
Please tell me that the PTFE might be detrimental to your health.
I don't know that.
Okay, it's basically Teflon, I guess.
Well, the idea is there's a coating on that surgical mask which is
PTFE.
I don't say what it is. It's designed to create electrostatic charge. So the little aerosols and anything else just get caught up in the webbing somehow.
That's what the blue stuff. That's what the blue stuff is for.
Maybe something. There's something. Supposedly these are electrostatic masks.
I thought the N95.
I heard this. I don't know the details.
Okay,
but that's what you need. You get the electrostatic that takes care of this. And then you get the cloth. I don't know. The whole thing's bogus, especially if we listen to the beginning of the show where this woman says, hey, there are treatments. You catch it, you get a couple of drugs, you're good in 48 hours, you go back to work.
Can't have that. That's not doing the business of
So we have 400,000 dead. It's on the heads of somebody when Nigeria has like 1,600 or something along those lines. Because they got the Sunday drug. They were just taking this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for us having so many dead, and it's not because we've got lousy medicine here.
No.
Anyway, let's go to part 2 of this.
Unfortunately, there aren't any standards for masks right now. Those are coming, but it's going to be several months. In the meantime, what we know is that tightly woven cloth works better than loosely knitted cloth. 2 layers is better than 1. 3 layers is even better as long as it doesn't inhibit you from breathing easily through the fabric.
I can't breathe!
Who is this woman speaking? Who is she?
She's some expert from a college that's been studying aerosol disbursement.
If you really want to upgrade your masks, the thing to do is to look for a mask with a pocket or a middle layer where you can insert a filter. Things like a HEPA filter, a high-efficiency particulate air filter, work very well, block 99% of particles. The other thing you can do is to use a surgical-type mask, which filters really well, but probably doesn't fit so well, especially around the sides, and to layer a second mask on top of that, like a tight-fitting cloth mask, to help improve the fit and reduce gaps. That way you get both good filtration and a good fit.
One of the things that seems, I think, so difficult for people is that they go to shop for a mask, and it's very hard to assess quality or whether or not something that is a surgical mask or claims to be one is in fact one.
So we want to look for certification seals if we are actually buying, say, surgical masks. So the ASTM rating, 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the best that you can get in regards to surgical masks. And then the FDA actually has a website that shows true from false, fake from real ones.
If masks are the first layer of protection, the second one is distancing. We've heard this mantra for months. Avoid crowds as much as possible, and if you're around others, stay 6 feet apart. But 6 feet isn't some magical number.
It really isn't a magic number. I mean, it's the closer you are, the more risk that you have. The analogy, which is not perfect, but it's a way that you can sort of think about it in your head, is if you're standing right next to a person smoking a cigarette, you're going to be inhaling a lot of that. It's the same with the virus. So 6 feet is just a good standard. It's easy for people to visualize 6 feet.
I love that. Let's compare standing next to someone with COVID as standing next to a smoker. Hold on. I have a smoking clip for this.
That was a gem, by the way.
Very good. Wait, I had something about smoking.
Before you're looking, I want to mention the comment in that report where the guy says, people are confused when shopping for a mask. What, are they going to Macy's?
Honey, let's go shopping for what for?
Let's go shopping for a mask.
Let's go to Costco and stock up. We need all kinds. While we're there, let's go to Gucci and find a mask for you, girl. Make you look hip and fly. Here was the smoking thing.
There's more fallout from the pandemic. Americans are smoking again after years of decline. Cigarette sales were steady last year as people staying home lit up more often.
Yeah, baby. Congratulations, America.
There's one last clip in this group called Mask Up Saturday. This was actually yesterday. This came out.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is requiring masks to be worn on all forms of public transportation starting Monday night. The order applies to passengers and crew members for all forms of public travel within the United States, but also when traveling into or out of the country. The rule also applies to transportation hubs like airports and train stations. The order follows an executive order from President Joe Biden last week that required masks on airplanes and on federal property. The mask mandate comes as, on average, confirmed infections, deaths, and hospitalizations all continue to fall in the United States compared to 2 weeks ago. That's according to data compiled by the New York Times. Today, Maryland became the second state to report a case of the South African coronavirus variant. South Carolina reported the first U.S. cases on Thursday. In a statement, Maryland's governor said, quote, the individual has not traveled internationally, making community transmission likely. Nearly 28 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines have now been administered, according to the CDC. On average, about 1.3 million shots are being given each day.
I have some clips that I think complement this as we move into vaccinations. So let's start with South Africa for a moment. This is ABC.
2 people in South Carolina are the first known Americans infected with a highly contagious variant from South Africa.
And I'd like to have some consistency. You know, in your clip, they were talking about the mutant strain in South Africa, and this is still, I guess, deemed as the variant, highly contagious variant.
The patients have no travel history or connection to one another.
Maintaining, social distancing, wearing the masks is now even more important because the virus mutates each time it makes copies of itself. It has a chance to mutate further.
There's no evidence that the variant causes more severe disease. But this morning, one drug maker's new data is raising concern. Novavax says its vaccine, which is in a late-stage trial, was nearly 90% effective during a study in England. But in South Africa, where nearly every case contains the troubling new variant, Novavax says its vaccine was only 49% effective.
We have to keep an eye out on this, and we have to be able, and we are already doing it, of being able to modify for the future, not for tomorrow or the next day, but modify for the future the vaccine so that maybe we will have to give someone a boost to cover these new variants.
We'll have to give you a boost because it's so damn effective. And this is all over the place. You got to have the boost. We got to do something. It's a variant. I'm telling you, Fauci, you got to save us.
But what we know now from this study, namely the J&J and the Novavax study, that antigenic variation, i.e. mutations that lead to different lineage, do have clinical consequences. Because as you can see, even though the long-range effect in the sense of severe disease is still handled reasonably well by the vaccines, this is a wake-up call to all of us that we will be dealing as the virus uses its devices to evade pressure, particularly immunological pressure, that we will continue to see the evolution of mutants. So that means that we, as a government, the companies, all of us that are in this together, will have to be nimble to be able to just adjust readily to make versions of the vaccine that actually are specifically directed towards whatever mutation is actually prevalent at any given time.
So I guess we're going to make a Windows CE version. And
so we're
going to have all different iOS, and we'll have the Mac OS versions, different versions for these mutants. And now, I mean, when they first started rolling this out, it's you get your first dose, then after 2 weeks, maybe 3, you get your second dose. Whatever you do, do not be mixing and mingling with the Pfizer versus the Moderna. You got to have consistent, which I've received so many emails from people who were not warned about this and almost made a mistake themselves. But now it turns out that you can just go ahead and just mix it all up. Just, it's like a potluck, really.
And John, I'm just going to lay it out there like it is. I asked experts, I said, listen, if you were looking for a vaccine, would you make the effort to get a Pfizer or Moderna vaccine because it is more effective? And they said, absolutely. I want Pfizer or Moderna. The numbers are better. But if I couldn't get it, I wouldn't hesitate to take Johnson & Johnson because it is also quite good. And let's take a look at the numbers, John, that explain what they mean. Good. So when you're looking at preventing moderate to severe COVID, Johnson & Johnson, 66% effective, Moderna and Pfizer around 95% effective. That is a big difference. When you're looking at preventing severe cases, keeping people out of the hospital, keeping them out of off of a ventilator, keeping them alive, Johnson & Johnson was 85% effective, Moderna and Pfizer 100% or nearly 100% effective. So again, bottom line, if you can get Johnson & Johnson and you can't get the other two, get it. You can always see about getting Pfizer, Moderna later. Experts tell me that there's no reason you can't get both of them. Getting one doesn't mean that you shouldn't get the other one later on if you can.
Here's the idea. You triple mask, you triple vaccinate. It's not a problem. There's no reason. Go out, get the J&J now, and then get the Moderna, throw in some Pfizer, and notice that what she's saying is not you're immune, you won't catch the virus. No, 100% certain you won't die from it. Yeah, when you get the COVID after you've had the vaccine, this is not a vaccine. When you get COVID, in this report, she just said, you won't be that severely sick because you had the vaccine. So what is it? Sounds more like a treatment than a vaccine. And as you, John, I have to hand it to you. You said we will see people standing in long lines. You said they'll be wrapped around the block. And once again, you're right. And when you're right, you're right.
Over the past few weeks, you see video of long lines like this.
We've seen it.
For COVID testing, maybe a line to get the vaccine. This is not that.
No, it is not. All of these people are in line waiting to get their fix of Chick-fil-A. Our Tim Hamlin went to the opening of one of 2 new locations today, right here in
Listen to the report.
The lines are insane here at the new Chick-fil-A. You can't see from the ground. Let's go upstairs to Skyfall. Here I am down here waving. Zoom on out and just look at the pandemonium here. With his M59
pandemonium.
Shayna.
Why does Detroit local news have this British guy doing the on-the-spot Chick-fil-A news? I mean, seriously. But that's America for you, man. Hey, there's a line. It's Chick-fil-A.
There's a line. Let's get in it.
Let's get in it quick. Luckily, we're getting to the bottom of all of this. And this goes back to your first clip about the naming of the virus. We all know that it was racist to say the Wuhan flu or the China virus because the mainstream media was told by China to tell us that. And now luckily we have investigations going on the ground. The World Health Organization finally allowed to go in and investigate the origins of this deadly flu and subsequent pandemic, the BBC reports.
I think one thing that's pretty crucial is there's been a bit of misunderstanding, I think, as to what this team is going to do. They're not really going to be doing their own research. They're going to be examining what the Chinese scientists already have and then looking at what's missing. I mean, how do we get to the bottom of what caused this virus? Does new research have to be commissioned or something along those lines? They'll be then putting together a report and moving on from there. What they won't be doing is in 2 weeks telling us we've found out the cause of the coronavirus. They've stressed to us how complicated this is. It's a very difficult thing to work out. It's going to take time, maybe even years, and frankly asked us all just to wait and see what they come up with.
Are the scientists visiting the laboratories that some people say the virus might originally have escaped from?
In short, no. They see the lab leak theory as a conspiracy theory, really, and unless they've got some solid reason, they say scientific reason, they won't have me going down that path.
No!
What they're looking at is
Don't go down that
zoonotic origin of the virus. In other words, the question of which animal it possibly came from, maybe a bat, say, into another animal and then finally into human beings, and how that could have taken place. I mean, they're even saying it could have come from a bat overseas or even a person in another country, and that the virus entered Wuhan via somewhere else. That's a very contentious thing for them to have said, because the Chinese government has been really pushing this line that, it probably came from overseas. I mean, one foreign ministry official even said it definitely came from overseas.
Yeah, definitely. Came from overseas. Yeah,
it came from Italy.
Yeah, of course. No, America.
And it didn't come from a lab that just coincidentally, as is well known, since Fauci works there, a lab working on coronaviruses.
Yes.
That lab, that's one of their specialties.
Where people got sick in November.
Yeah, there's no chance of that. It couldn't have been done there.
They're not even going down that road. Don't waste our time going down that road.
Yeah.
So on the death numbers, these
by the way, show me the animal.
Yes, indeed. Well, South Park did all that.
Pangolin.
We know exactly how it went down. There are people dying, no doubt. I think now that all the numbers are starting to be analyzed a little bit, we see that the majority of deaths were really over 70 years old, the majority, and I think the largest set of that was probably 80 plus, and it was a lot of nursing homes and a lot of places where, a flu, an influenza of any kind, or a cold could kill residents. So this is one video, and it's you can look at the whole video in the show notes. This is a certified nursing assistant who works in a nursing home. So this is not a doctor. It is someone who is really there to help the patients with their everyday needs and make sure they do take their regimen of medicines, etc. And it's paid candy stripers, really, the way I see it, but they are certified, so they have credentials to do this. And this is one of them, with just heartbreaking what the vaccine is doing to his patients in his nursing home.
As a CNA who works with the residents, who touch them, who talks to, who pray with them, who cares for them, okay, like I'm coming from this angle. I know my patients. I know when they are happy. I know when they are sad. I know when they are frustrated. I know when they are feeling good. I know these people. I'm around them for 8 hours. And many people who are CNAs can testify of the same thing. We know the people that we care for. 2 weeks after these people received the vaccine, particularly the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, I am seeing this pattern of not just side effects, to the point where we had people who were once walking who are no longer walking. People who were once talking who could no longer talk. People who were once able to think could no longer think properly. Delirium, confused. Our residents are dying. Our residents are dying after they have taken this vaccine. And what troubles me, this is not even being spoken about. What bothers my heart is that it's almost like, don't talk about this. Just keep quiet. Just.
There you go.
Okay.
I think this is happening a lot.
Well, let's ask the question that needs to be asked.
Okay.
We did a report, I think it was 2 or 3 shows ago, where the nursing home in Norway, I believe it was.
Yes.
Where they gave everybody a shot and 26 people dropped dead.
It was just regular side effects. Regular side effects. Nothing to be worried about.
Nothing to be worried. And then they said, if you recall, I sure do, we should not be giving the shot to anyone over 80.
Oh, I think it's already down to 65 now, I'm hearing.
Well, they said then, after they killed 26 people, we should not give the shot to anyone over 80, and then we won't have this issue. And so, meanwhile, I showed it in the newsletter. There's Hank Aaron, over 80, gets a shot, dies. One person after another. I think they're just trying to kill off the old people.
Well, they're not succeeding with everybody.
Congressman Stephen Lynch has tested positive for the coronavirus. His office says that he was tested after a staff member in his Boston office tested positive. This is interesting. Lynch had been vaccinated. His staff says he received his second dose of the Pfizer vaccine even before attending President Biden's inauguration. Right now, Lynch is asymptomatic and the congressman is self-quarantining.
So he's not sick, but he tested positive after the vaccine. It's crazy. How does this work? I don't understand it. It doesn't seem like anything I've ever witnessed before when it comes to vaccines. It just doesn't seem they're doing it the right way. And since it's killing people over 80, bring in the military to help them out.
There may soon be active duty troops in addition to National Guard members giving out shots. CNN has gotten a look at a draft agreement between the Pentagon and FEMA calling for the military to provide 10,000 troops to help vaccinate around 450,000 people a day.
And luckily this came up in the press briefing. Jen Psaki.
Go ahead. Oh, wait, I promised you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. FEMA has requested active duty troops be used at vaccination centers when they get stood up across the country. Does the White House support that request?
I did ask our team about this. You or someone else may have asked about this the other day, and I think I have something on it here. One moment. Thanks for your patience. Lots to say about COVID. No,
but not about your question.
Let's see. Let me talk to our team about it. You know, I know I've seen that request from FEMA. Obviously, part of our objective is ensuring that we have vaccinators on the ground. I know that's not what you're asking about, but also the ability to move materials and move vaccines. So we are tapping into any resource we can, but it's more predominantly focused on kind of a health and medical core, and that the ability to get those people into communities. But I will check with our team and get you something more specific.
It's impossible for her to say, I'm sorry, I don't have the answer. She just can't do that. She has to take a minute to flip through her tabs because she has no knowledge. She's a tab reader. I'm a tabber.
She's never, now that you mention it, it's a good point. She can never say, I don't know if any of them ever say, I don't know.
Her way is saying circle back. From the Wall Street Journal, Europe's vaccine plans are unraveling amid a shortage of doses that is raising concerns about the continent's ability to immunize its most vulnerable populations and reopen its economy in the near term. In the latest blow for the continent, advisors to the German government warned on Thursday that AstraZeneca's vaccine should not be given to people over the age of 64 because of a lack of data about its efficacy in this new group. Makes you just want to have it all, doesn't it? Let me see. What else do I have on? I think that's
why would an age barrier exist? I mean, what's the difference between 64, whatever they said, and 70? What changes so much?
Your retirement age when you stop working, I think.
They should be given. It would take a lot of people off the dole.
Yeah, you put them in the ground. It helps a lot of things. Yeah,
then, it saves on Social Security. I think there's something up.
Now, going back 10 months ago, even a little bit earlier than that, we all discovered that there had been a kind of like an exercise, a table read, what was a multi-day exercise called Event 201, which included Johns Hopkins, the Bloomberg School of Medicine, the Gavi, the Gates vaccine guys, the World Health Organization, media partners, and they ran this scenario pretty much exactly what we're witnessing right now. And although I'm sure if you say that now, you're a crazy conspiracy nut job.
Yeah, crazy.
We should really be happy that they did that. Otherwise, we'd all be dead. We wouldn't have even had it this good. So imagine my surprise when across my podcaster desk comes the 2025-2028 SPARS pandemic. It's a nice PDF here. It's a beautiful folder with a new version of an ugly-ass thing on the front. So they've pre-drawn the virus that is going to kill us. It's called SPARS, S-P-A-R-S. And this is a futuristic scenario for public health risk communications from the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, and all the usual suspects are in there. They're doing the same type of exercise for this new crisis, which will be called SPARS. I can't actually find a word for the acronym in the entire document, but it's really worth reading because they start off right away with how are we handling the communication and the media, and how do we get people out of the, here it is, possible future in 2025, the echo chamber, unbridled global access to information coupled with social fragmentation and self-affirming worldviews. We're going to have to teach everybody. Ogilvy is in this group. They're setting up another one, or at least getting ready for it with lessons learned from this exercise.
Well,
let me give you the scenario.
The lesson that needs to be learned is if some smart lawyers get together and just sue the pants off of everyone they can. This is a pathetic situation.
I just want to read the scenario environment, then everybody can go read this for themselves. And this is right on page 2. In the year 2025, the world has become simultaneously more connected, yet more divided. These guys are so good. Nearly universal access to wireless internet and new technology, including internet accessing technology, IAT. Thin, flexible screens that can be...
What does that mean?
They've made an acronym, Internet Accessing Technology, and they put in parentheses IAT. And here it is.
My refrigerator?
Yeah, here it is. IAT. Thin, flexible screens that can be temporarily attached to briefcases, backpacks, or clothing and used to stream content from the internet.
What do I want? What?
Yeah, this is going to be in 2025. This is the scenario. Please.
I want a screen on my backpack so I can stream the internet?
So this has provided for the means of readily sharing news and information. However, many have chosen to self-restrict the sources they turn to for information, often electing to interact only with those with whom they agree. Podcasters. This trend has increasingly isolated cliques from one another, making communication across and between these groups more and more difficult. From a government standpoint, the current administration is led by President Randall Archer, who took office in January 2025. Hey, Joe's out, I guess. Another served as vice president under President Jacqueline Bennett, who served from 2020 to 2024, who did not seek a second term due to health concerns. Holy crap, these people are writing complete fiction.
You know, it's always risky to write fiction that's 5 years out.
It's not even, it's 4 years out.
4 years out. You're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
You're going to have it thrown in your face.
Just listen to some of this stuff. These people are completely delusional. So they're talking about how to communicate. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Food and Drug Administration, have increasingly adopted a diverse range of social media technologies, including long-existing platforms such as Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter, as well as emerging platforms like ZapQ, a platform that enables users to aggregate and archive selected media content from other platforms and communicate with cloud-based social groups based on common interests and current events. Wow. They should start a Silicon Valley company. They shouldn't be in the healthcare. So if you want that kind of fiction, go ahead and read the SPARS pandemic scenario from Johns Hopkins. Super, guys. Good work. I mean, should we just be on the lookout for that to happen now?
And when the lawyers get a hold of this...
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think the lawyers can really stop anything?
Well, I mean, you have that guy in Holland. You got to look into that guy who's taking it to The Hague.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like, I mean, this is actionable.
The useful Hague. Go to The Hague.
Well, The Hague is The Hague, but this seems actionable to me. You can't do what they've done. Can't shut down just arbitrarily. It turns out shut down businesses and then open them up and not show us why. Like Newsom just did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're opening it up. I can't say why. Just going to do it.
I love it. I love it. It'll keep us in a job for a little bit longer.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I have one last COVID clip, which is the COVID 19-second clip, the COVID gloss over.
Okay. From PBS? Yeah.
A more contagious version of COVID-19 from South Africa has arrived in the U.S., with 2 cases confirmed in South Carolina. The nation's COVID death toll has passed 432,000, and the Attorney General in New York State reported nursing home deaths were undercounted by up to 50%.
And we're done.
Wait, let's do that one more time. It's only 19 seconds, the most important 19 seconds in news information gathering you will receive today.
A more contagious version of COVID-19 from South Africa has arrived in the U.S., with 2 cases confirmed in South Carolina. The nation's COVID death toll has passed 432,000, and the Attorney General in New York State reported nursing home deaths were undercounted by up to 50%.
Woo! By up to, so how does that work? Did we have more dead, or we just counted the wrong people? So is it 432 plus 100,000 that we didn't count? Or
no, what it amounts to, I forgot how many there were. I think there were 10,000 counted dead. But what they did, what it turns out they did on investigation, and all of this because of Cuomo, who then scrubbed the history books to make it sound as though he didn't do this by pushing COVID infected people back into the nursing homes, is that if you were in a nursing home and you died in the nursing home of COVID, that's one.
That's a COVID.
If you're in a nursing home and you got sick, they took you to the hospital and then you dropped dead,
that's 2.
Doesn't count.
Oh, really? Oh.
That's and it turns out half of the deaths were of that second style.
So they took him to the hospital, and then it didn't count as a nursing home death. It counted as a hospital death.
Yes.
So we still got the right
even
number.
if they're en route.
That's not an ambulatory death. It's a hospital death. Oh, okay. Well, it's nice to know. I mean, if you're counting dead people.
Well, who's counting?
Yeah. How many people die a year in the United States? 3 million?
I don't remember.
Still 3 million.
People die.
All right. And anyway, amidst all of this, amidst multiple vaccines, amidst all of these things, people opening up, are the schools going to open up? I don't think so. Are they still pushing back with the teachers' union?
The teachers' union is keeping it from happening, but there's a lot of private schools that have opened up, and there's a lot of smaller schools that have opened up. There's schools that have opened up here and there. It's not being tracked much because the teachers' unions try to keep a lid on that. I don't know. The whole thing is befuddling to me because here, they finally let the people eat outside again after, trying to put everyone out of business. And then, meanwhile, in Florida and in Texas, in your neighborhood, everyone's just as normal.
Last night, the keeper and I went out to dinner, little date. Saturday night.
Did you go into an indoor restaurant and eat?
Yes. In fact, we went to the same restaurant we went to the minute we were allowed to eat after the initial 2-week lockdown, which was the Lonesome Dove. Yeah, May? April. Yeah, the Lonesome Dove. And now they still have less capacity of tables, I would say, but it's probably 75%. Lots of people in the restaurant. The city was buzzing. It was, we had to hunt around for a parking spot. The big difference is Austin is open. I don't think, and the Gay Street on 4th, holy moly. They got the lights blaring. Every dance club is open. Oh, yeah. It's open for business. We are the super spreader city of the South. Hey.
Well, the entire state of Florida has been that way for quite some time.
Yeah, I think they have.
And Horowitz grouses about it.
I'm not, don't do he doesn't grouse about it. He's happy to get out. I made the mistake the other day when I was talking to him saying, so you're getting the vaccine? You seem like a guy who'll get the vaccine. He's like, what do you mean? I'm sorry. No.
He's getting very defensive.
Well, he had COVID, so he doesn't need the vaccine. Or does he?
He's had COVID. What do you need the vaccine for? If you need the vaccine after getting it, that means the vaccine's no good.
Now, let's just switch gears. I think we've done enough on the COVID now. It's nice to do an hour about this. That's all it takes, really, to debunk all this crap. Sorry?
COVID pays the bills.
Now, I think a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that I've been working with a lot of these a lot of the Bitcoin people who are predominantly men, 25 to 30 years old. And I was trying to come up with a name for them, but they are pretty much the millennials. I mean, it is a section of millennials who are breakout. And I believe this, and I want to help the millennials reclaim their name and turn it into a positive. Because, when we say, millennials, it's kind of derogatory.
Well, it's not as far as I'm concerned, but if you feel that way, they feel that way?
Yeah. When you say the millennials, it's kind of like saying the gays. It's just seen as like, hey, who you know, it's like when someone calls you boomer. It's the same thing. Hey, boomer. Now, I am
not that common.
What's not common?
I think I've been called a boomer once.
You need to get out more.
No, I can get out, and it's just not like people, there goes one.
Anyway, it's not about you. So this group has, I think we've witnessed a historic moment, kind of like an outbreak of sanity. We've had many millennial producers on the show who are fantastic. And some of them have been listening all throughout their puberty into adulthood. So we know that it's not really a generalized thing, but we have underinformed and over-socialized people out there. And that moves more into the Zoomers. But now we have this very specific age group, which I've been delighted to be working with. And I know I told you about, why they're in Bitcoin is because they feel they've been screwed by the system since their birth, born during the Gulf War, then 9/11. It must have been pretty confusing when you're 8 years old. Anthrax, then we invade the wrong country. Then the big 2008 where they saw their parents, everyone lost jobs, lost houses, real financial hardship, which never really was fixed. And then fast forward, we're in the Corona shutdown. So there's a group of, an age group that is pissed about what they would presume their parents or the boomers or whatever have done. And this is, I think, what has happened with this GameStop, which is not over, is they've actually done the impossible. They've united themselves collectively and united a little bit of America. I don't think there's a single person who isn't, well, no, there are. There's the Wall Street guys, but in general, I think the whole world is kind of thinking, yeah, who gives a crap? Get those guys. Would you agree? I think everyone's kind of liking this.
I'm so detached from it. It's
good.
like the least of the things I work on or even care about is this GameStop story. And to me, it's something we don't talk about much on the show anymore. It's something of the distraction of the week.
I disagree. And
obviously.
Well, I've spoken to a lot of people since our last show, and I wanted to give you my report, and let's see if we can come up with something. First, it didn't take very long, as I think we discussed on the last episode, didn't take very long for the mainstream media to call them exactly what we thought they'd call them.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people. And, I think it's inappropriate. We all got to work together and pull together.
That's just random CNBC. Sounds like someone's angry. Oh, they're going after rich people. Oh, no. Here's the former SEC commissioner. What's her name? Her name is Laura Unger.
It really puts a lot of question about the integrity of the market, right? And it really kind of, everybody's scratching their heads over this. What should happen? What is the right thing to do to control this or stop this? Not unlike what we saw on January 6th at the Capitol, right? If you don't have the police in there at the right time, things go a little crazy. And that's kind of feels like what's happening with this. Much different, much lesser degree. It's financial harm, not personal bodily harm. But certainly that's the same kind of, platform created frenzy that people are operating under. And these are very trying times.
Very trying times. So So this is the same people at the Capitol, and if you look around, you'll stumble pretty quickly on these are like the insurrectionists, these are the terrorists, these are Trump supporters, these are Nazis, they hate the Jews. It's all these stories start to flow together, but there's something completely different going on. And to the man, I don't know any women in this, but to the man who have participated in this, they have kind of memed themselves into a place where their whole media lives have influenced this moment, particularly with the memes. And I would say that most people who are involved in this GameStop short, and it's a lot more. It's AMC. In fact, I think there's now 50 companies who may possibly be targeted for a short squeeze. They understand that as long as they don't sell, then eventually, it's like the Mexican standoff. Eventually, someone has to give, and you're looking at several hedge fund companies who may be, down anywhere. I've heard wild estimations from $5 billion to $70 billion, and collectively, there may be 6 or 7 million of the millennials who are holding on to maybe, what they say, I got my stimmy check, I put my $600 in, and they will take the loss. This is what people understand. They will never sell this. They will take the loss. They feel this is their stand. The memes are everything from Braveheart to Game of Thrones. I thought this was the most explanatory meme. If you've never seen Les Miserables, well, this song is exactly what they're talking about. Go to the barricade, stand, we'll never put down, we will never give up the fight. And this is the scene where they're all singing. The Song of Angry Men. The Song of Angry Men. These are memes going around. And my favorite is the actual instruction manual, how to screw over the bankers, from the 1980 film Trading Places with Eddie Murphy.
Margin call, gentlemen. Oh, you can't expect us to...
You know the rules of the exchange, Mr. Duke. All accounts to be settled at the end of the day's trading, without exception.
You know perfectly well we don't have $394 million in cash.
I'm sorry, boys. Put the Duke Brothers seats on the exchange up for sale at once. Seize all assets of Duke and Duke Commodities Brokers, as well as all personal holdings of Randolph and Mortimer Duke.
My God. We're ruined. This is an outrage. I demand an investigation. You can't sell our seats. A Duke has been sitting on this exchange since it was founded. We founded this exchange. It's ours. It belongs to us. My God.
Mortimer, your brother's not well. We better call an ambulance.
Fuck him. Now you listen to me. I want trading reopened right now. Get those brokers back in here. Turn those machines back on. Turn those machines back on.
Now, I don't know the depth of how far these shorts go, but when you have hedge funds supporting other hedge funds with billions of dollars, and you see the share price is still way above, closed above $300, this is not over, and they will not sell. They will die on their trades. They will not get rid of this, and it's something that I don't think most people understand. And I am loving this because this is what I think it's a logical follow-on from the deplatforming. I think you and I have somehow been a part of this. You have made a career of demeaning corporations and their overlords. And I think a lot of these people, this millennial generation, might have grown up reading a back page or two that you wrote.
Could be.
So I think there's influence, and if so, I'm super happy about it. But they figured out the game.
Are you happy or super happy?
I'm super happy about it. Yes, because this is change, and this is change not driven by a political party. They're kind of apolitical. There's not really, this is what I mean by united. There's not a left or a right. I think there's a lot of Bernie supporters. I'm sure there's a lot of MAGA people, but even some of the kids I'm closer to who are definitely not even Bernie. They love it. They think it's fantastic. And they'll buy $300 worth to get one share just to be a part of it. And from what I understand, the next move is going to be silver, which is also a heavily manipulated market. And they may, if they start buying up silver and demand physical delivery, which I think is the way they're trying to move that, it could get pretty ugly. So Robinhood is in the middle of this, which you and I have been warning since 2017 that it's a piece of crap and it's stealing. What we were saying at the time is they're stealing kids' weed and skateboard money because they're not really giving you a spot on the trading floor. They're front running it through, in fact, one of these hedge fund companies that is in trouble right now. So Robinhood has financial issues because they have all these people holding these shares. They have no liquidity. And so now this is what we'll see on Monday, where we thought, oh, yeah, it's just, just a couple of things. No, they're going to go and limit 50 stocks for the Robinhood trading platform.
Hey, Wilf, Robinhood, again, limiting the amount of shares that customers can buy for certain stocks. We've got a couple new names to add to that list. Beyond Meat, Starbucks, GM. So not the names that we've been talking about. You think of GameStop, for example. There are now 50 names in total on that list. I just spoke to Robinhood. It's not entirely clear why they're adding names like Starbucks. They did say that this has to do with market volatility. They're monitoring stocks by the name. They're looking at each stock and seeing if it fits a certain criteria. We don't have a lot of detail on exactly what that is. They say, though, it is a fluid situation, and they are updating their blog post. But again, the list of restricted stocks now includes 50 names.
And just for everyone who's listening and for what I see in the troll room, this is not about trading. It's not about a market. People are posting, well, they're going to lose everything. Yeah, that's the point. They're prepared to. It's a very interesting movement. I love following this. I'm really proud of what the millennials are doing. I'm on your side. Diamond hands, baby. Go for it. It's going all the way to the White House.
One more question, and apologies if you answered this in response to Steve's question, but I just want to be clear here. Do you anticipate President Biden to address the GameStop controversy when he meets with his economic team a little bit later this morning?
No.
No.
Do I anticipate him addressing it publicly, you mean?
No, just talking about it with his economic team.
Well, the focus of the meeting is about the recovery plan, about the status of the economic recovery, about obviously the data that we saw yesterday. I'm sure they'll cover a range of topics during that meeting, but that's not the focus.
Story. Okay.
I know it's a big story, but it doesn't, obviously our focus and our big story is getting the American people back to work.
I don't know if the fact that Jen Psaki's brother works at Citadel as a portfolio manager would have anything to do with her dismissive attitude in the answering of that question. But she should perhaps recuse herself when it comes to this. She looks pretty foolish when she does that. I think I have one more story about this from ABC.
All this market frenzy began when amateur traders banded together in online chat forums like Reddit to boost the stock of struggling video game retailer GameStop and overthrow Wall Street hedge funds who were shorting the stock, betting that GameStop would fail. The amateur traders helped force shares up
Please
by
pay attention to the words.
100%, costing the hedge funds more than $5 billion. One hedge fund had to be bailed out by other firms. Billionaire investor Leon Cooperman says pumping up stock prices like this amounts to playing with fire.
This is not going to end well when it ends. And the bigger question is, when does it end?
He went on to comment on the current market conditions and those who claim billionaires aren't paying their fair share in taxes after raking in so much cash from these companies.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people. And, I think it's inappropriate. We all got to work together and pull together.
But Jamie Rogozinski, who started the Reddit page Wall Street Bets, says there's a reason his page has attracted millions of small-time investors.
You make money, right?
No.
You're beating them at their own game.
Yeah. So this is the type of report you'll see over and over again. It's not about money. Very funny, Saturday Night Live, but no, it's not about people walking around with gold diamond-studded Rolexes. That's not what this is about. So I want you to know that this Gen Xer with boomer tendency rising is on the side of this. I love this. And I understand why you said you're far away from it. But, man, I just kind of stumbled into this, and I'm glad I did. And it's not about the trading. It's about screwing Wall Street as hard as they can. And I think we might be at that time in the internet's evolution. It's obviously not going to be Reddit, but there's so many places the millennials have learned to organize, and they're showing their teeth. This is just the beginning.
Well, one of the memes you mentioned earlier, Braveheart.
Mm-hmm.
We know how that ended.
Yes, but they're not in it to win the money. That's the point.
Obviously, and that's the way it's going to end. They're going to lose their asses.
Yeah, but will they
collectively?
We'll see.
If you want to just throw money away, I mean, I think that's fine. I don't know that it's a wise thing to do. There's other things to do with your time. Okay, so I've the LOLZ's lols about this whole thing. Okay, so I've run up the stock and I've screwed this hedge fund guy I don't like, and nobody likes the hedge fund guys. And fantastic. I think if you would have put your money toward feeding the homeless, it would have been a better investment personally, but okay. Knock yourself out.
All right, I'm just identifying this as the beginning of something very big.
Well, we'll see.
Yes, very, very big. I'm excited about it because
you think it's a kick.
No, I think this is game changing. I think it's game changing for as much as everyone bullshits and moans and groans about Wall Street and how they've been ripping us off. A bunch of people, a nice group, decided to do something about it.
Well,
and they didn't have anything better to do. They've been home for 10 months with no job. And they came out of college probably with no prospect, with a piece of paper and a $30,000 job waiting for them. Yeah, I think that's what happens.
And a giant debt.
I think that's what happens when you put all those elements together and you give them the internet and you say, look, here's a bunch of memes to hype you up. Yeah, and here's an instruction manual. And since you're building your own currency over there, you know how it works. So go ahead and screw those guys. No. We'll see. This will be my beat, and I look forward to covering and returning the millennials to their positive name.
Yeah. All you need is a spear, and you need a couple horns on your head.
If that's what it takes, I'm in.
All right. We'll look forward to the next report.
I'm sure.
There's some great opportunities ahead for people who want to make money.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage to say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in, I don't know, I can't see it from here, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning, our ships, sea boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the wall, the dames' nights out there.
Well, in the morning to the troll room, we can find you trolls at noagendastream.com. Hands up, trolls. What do we got in the room here today? Let's find out. 2367. It's looking good. Trolls are trolling along. It's very busy in there. Good to see everybody. That's noagendastream.com, where you can listen to the live shows. The stream is 24/7. The sync, you're synced up. You're in the chat room, the troll room. You hear the stream. It could be just a show that's already been aired, but you're talking about that. You're hanging out. You're trolling with your other trolls. It's what you do. And during the live shows, it's a cool feedback loop. NoAgendaStream.com. While it's still available, go and ask for an invite to NoAgendaSocial.com, which is still open for those of you who have an invitation. It is our federated, non-algoized social network. Signal to Noise is still great. Still looking at capping that off pretty soon as we approach 10,000 people, and we need to do more federation. So if you're interested in building out this entire experience, please consider setting up a Mastodon server and federating with us. And then I'd like to thank the artist for episode 1316. We titled that one The Mark of the Mask. It was interesting to see the comments on the cover art, which was done by 2 in a row. Lottaline hit it twice. Brand new out of the gate, 2 in a row. Very impressive. As she did the No Agenda COVID-19 numbers for dummies. And invariably, people like, you guessed it, Comic Strip Blogger will say, that is stolen art! So maybe we should explain fair use. I didn't know there was a dummies book for that. Really? Maybe we should explain the fair use concept again.
Yeah, fair use. Fair use is when you have a work that you've modified in such a way that it is not representative of the original work. It's just a parody or a satire of the original work, no matter what the original work is, that becomes fair use.
Thank you.
Stolen art is where you lift an image and use it and maybe put the No Agenda logo around it, but the image itself is stolen. Right. And such as comic strip blogger once did with a Santa Claus image that he didn't draw.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
So it's fine.
Yes.
We're very aware of these
limitations,
and we check on some art that we are suspicious of, and we can tell some art is just obviously has been taken from the template for the dummies books.
Yeah.
But that's been done a million times by a million different people. It's a standard joke.
And it's low-hanging fruit. We love it. That's why we go for it.
Well, I was kind of pushing this one more than you.
Because it's low-hanging fruit.
No, it's because, your rationale is that we've used this gag before.
Yeah.
And I think we have, but I can't think of what it was. But I think we have. And probably will again someday.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see what else we had. We had the new anal swab test. That wasn't that great.
We don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that. A lot of anal swabs. For some reason, I don't know what people seem to like that. We had, I think was there anything else? I don't think anything else really stood out that was.
It was it's actually, I think when we started, it was, I think the comment by me was there's about 10 pieces that are usable, but nothing was really a killer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, we thank these artists. We thank Lotte Lien especially, since and Dreb Scott for doing all the chapters and using many more pieces of art throughout the show. You need a Podcasting 2.0 app for that. There's more and more coming online ever since the big deplatforming. It's possible that your favorite podcast app has added these capabilities overnight. If you want to see them, newpodcastapps.com. And again, thank you, Lotte Lien. And noagendaartgenerator.com is where you can participate in this bi-weekly or twice weekly competition where we will gladly review your art and tell you why we didn't pick it. And we'll also tell people why we picked the one that we did. That's just part of our value for value model where we ask for people to evaluate how much value they get from the show and then hit it back to us in time, your talent, or your treasure. We love handing out the official titles at the beginning of the show for our top producers. In the treasure realm, here are the executive producers and associate executive producers for episode 1317 of the No Agenda Show.
And before we get to that, I do want to mention that Sir Harry Pilgrim wants to wish his wife a happy 30th anniversary.
Oh, how nice.
In fact, it's his smoking hot redhead wife.
Oh, hello.
So
I think I've met him and his wife. I know him.
Yeah,
I know I met him.
Fredericksburg.
Yeah, exactly. I know I met them. Yeah. On the first tour years ago. Gosh, it must be almost 11 years ago. Years ago. 11 years. And we never had a fight. Love it.
Never had a fight. Never have fights with redheads. Let's thank a few people, starting with Tony Cabrera, $1,173.41. Greetings from the No Agenda shop. This is another shop donation.
Wow.
They're rolling in dough.
This is big. This is really big.
Enclosed, you'll find your finder's fee for delivering the best podcast in the universe. Expect some fashionable No Agenda double up face masks in the mail very soon. Until then, an Obama sucking in soot and a Dr. Fauci wheeze is all I ask in return.
Well, that is so little to ask. We really appreciate it. Hold on, let me get the wheeze here. The wheeze is a big one today. People loving the wheeze.
Sucking in soot.
Actually,
it works.
That combination's a good one.
It works. It sure does.
Oh, God. Tommy in Minnesota Nuts, $1,000 from St. Paul.
Holy moly.
He wrote a note in and sent in a check. Encloses a donation of $1,000.01. Extra penny for the jar.
Oh, thank you.
And it has been running out.
Yeah, we take
Please
that.
commence with the D douching.
You've been de-douched.
He would like pork chops and jalapeno poppers at the round table to be known henceforth as Sir Go Low. It's a golf thing.
I didn't have that request. I got to put that in. It's pork chops and jalapeno poppers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Karma is much needed and greatly appreciated. I'd also love to hear Victoria Newland say, F the EU. Thank you for your courage.
While I'm driving off laughing, this is what I'll say. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Oh, exactly. Fuck the EU.
You've got karma.
And Tommy has a spectacular signature. I just thought I'd mention that. You have to see it. It's quite good. It's just gorgeous. Bunch of scribbles, but it looks terrific. Frank Montwill in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 76420. If my accounting is correct, this brings me to knighthood. Please name me Sir Broken Glass of the Not So Grand Exit. Thanks to everyone at the Green Bay meetup.
Yeah, excellent. We'll be ready for you, Frank. Yes,
yeah, sure.
He did the number right on the button, right on the nose. Perfect.
Nailed it. Dave Fugazotto, the Duke
here
of
he
America's
is.
Heartland and the Arabian Peninsula.
Is he still locked up? Is he still
34343? Some code there.
34543.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
At long last, he says, assuming no further changes due to the pestilence COVID, I'm heading back.
Oh no!
To the United States for a short sojourn to see my dames. At this point, it has been 17 years. 437 days, 33 hours, and 33 minutes exactly since we last saw each other, but who's counting?
No one.
How I do miss them, he writes. I shall be returning by tramp steamer, obliged to work my passage by manning the bilge pumps. I embark in Jeddah at the Hajj port and travel northward through the Suez Canal. We stop at Alexandria to see the wonders of the library before heading westward to the Pillars of Hercules and the long sail across the winter across the Atlantic. Upon debarking in New York City, a fleet-footed steam locomotive shall convey me to the heartland. I do hope that the locomotive has a majestic horn to which to listen, or perhaps I'll fly. Terrible terrier travel, karma, please. Way too many opportunities for derailleur. Let's make this work.
Yeah, the real karma for you this time, man. It's been 5 times he's tried to get back in the past year, and it's been quite a while since they've been separated. And oh yeah, I hear the horn.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
You've got karma.
Thanks, Dave. That's tough.
He'll be back.
Man. Yeah, he will be back. He'll make it. I think this is the time. This is the one he gets back.
Yeah, I think so. Lawsuits ensue. Richard Mish 33.34. I don't have a note from him. I don't have a city for him. Hi, John and Adam. Please consider this advertising for the show and our first producership. We appreciate the shout out as the best manufacturer in the universe. No jingles, but please de-douche and pass karma our way. Bye, Fizz Dog.
What shot the best manufacturer? We shouted them out for something.
I don't know.
Hey, you're welcome.
I'm just reading the note.
You're welcome. We're happy to do it. All right, de-douching first as demanded.
You've been de-douched.
Somebody maybe in the chat room can look up Fizz Dog and maybe there's something attached to it.
Fizz Dog. You got it,
really,
Fizz Dog.
You've got
I would say
karma.
You can count that as advertising, but it's not a very good ad.
It's a bad ad. Hey, thanks for making us the best manufacturer. The Archer Daniel Midlands Award.
John Waldorf's next on the list from Harris, Minnesota, 333.33, and he has no note. But thank you for the donation. If you have a note, let us know. Alex Loesch, another. By the way, John's written before, so he could have said something in, but I didn't see anything. December, I think I got a note from Alex Loesch. Same thing. He's written in a number of times, but not this time. $333. Sir Stephen, $333. In the morning, I'm donating on behalf of my sister, Barb Wurtzberger. Please give her the credit. Oh, okay, make a note of that.
Yep.
Line 9. Give her the credit and a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
That's nice for your sister.
It's the anniversary of her 39th birthday on January 31st. So please give her a shout out. She's on the list. Mm-hmm. So if it's the anniversary of a birthday, that's kind of like Jack Benny. He's always the anniversary of his 39th birthday until he was 80.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's the throwback.
Maybe that's just a cutoff. She's 39 forever. She listens while running on her rounds through snow, rain. She's in the gloom of night. She must be a postal worker. Sir Stephen. Okay, she'll get credit for that. Anonymous, $300.33 from New York City. Sir Tristan Banning's next with $268 from Toronto, Ontario. Hey, guys. In the morning, can I get some? I got ants. It makes me happy. Okay, bye.
Yeah, Sir Tristan Banning, Toronto, Scandinavia. We'll give you a little bit of that. It's too long for the full thing.
I got ants. I got ants.
You've got karma.
Sir Woody, the birthday boy in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I don't know if he's on the birthday list. $253.03. ITM, messieurs. Bindle Stiff and Honey Yocker. I don't know. Pony Yocker. Pawn Yocker. Okay.
Pine-Yocker?
Use guys is the best. And now for the important stuff. No jingles, no karma. To some, not only marks my birthday on Groundhog's Day. So he's going to be 74. I don't know if he's on the list. I don't see any evidence of it. That puts me 33 cents over the amount needed to become a baron, accounting below. Please add the 33 pennies to the kick in the penny dish. Wow. Adam's going to be quitting the show here if he gets that much more.
I'm stacking sats here. Stacking.
He's rocking it. For a protectorate, my original intent was to claim the Dakota Territory as shown on the maps in 1861 because no one else seems to want it. Fact check false. We do have a Baron, Sir Michael, Baron of South Dakota, with claims to the state. I therefore would humbly ask the good sir for a very small slice of his barony, a place near my home called Blood Run. This historic settlement, along with Big Sioux River, has been occupied for at least 8,000 years. It's a National Historic Landmark with a Native American sacred site of many burial grounds. If possible, I would also like the title name changed at this point from Sir Woody of the Falls to Sir Woody, Baron of Blood Run. Thanks a bunch, gents. Respectfully, Sir Woody, the birthday boy, Baron of Blood Run. P.S. I'll tell you what's wrong with society. No one drinks from the skulls of their enemies anymore.
Yes, that would change things, wouldn't it?
And by the way, when you say the toast skull, that is actually referring to that exact practice.
Skull, yes, skull. All right, why don't I do Christopher Cavaletto, who comes in with $246.80, 2468. Nice, Williams, Arizona. I got impatient waiting for my $11.11 a month to add up to a knighthood, says Christopher. This donation of $246.80 will bring me over the top, or knighthood 2468. Who do we appreciate? Always disappointed when I run out of show and have to listen to something else. No one else has the sound quality anywhere near what you guys produce on a consistent basis. This show has been an essential source of sanity in the 10-plus years I've been listening, especially in part and in the train wreck that was 2020. Thank you, and so proud to finally be joining the roundtable. Knight name, Sir Chris of the Benevolent Order of the Choo-Choos. Need to call out Max Power in Sequim, Washington as a douchebag. I hit him in the mouth last year. He has made No Agenda a staple of his edutainment. Clips, trains good, planes bad. Jobs, Goat Karma birthday shout out to Max. He'll be turning 40 on the 31st of January on the list. And a birthday shout out to my son, Antonio. He'll be turning 19 on the 1st of February. And then he has some other stuff. Not to the show. Here's hoping 2021 can be better as I navigate single dad status. I work as a rail car mechanic, also engineer on both diesel and steam locomotives. We shut down in March for almost 2 months. Unfortunately, only about half of staff came back after the shutdown. We've been running trains at 30% capacity all year. Social distancing is, of course, a joke in a sardine can. Breaking even, it's the new American dream, I guess. Just got the news last week that there will be no raises this year. Anyway, happy to answer any train questions if you have them. Love my new hoodie and coffee mug and my son got me for Christmas. I presume he got them from noagendashop.com with your logo on it. Hopefully I got this note in time for Sunday's show. Yes, definitely. Now, what was the, what I didn't have set up was trains good, planes bad, and what's the other thing you wanted here? Jobs Go Karma. Yeah, I got this.
All aboard, trains good, planes bad. Woo-hoo.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. You've got karma.
So violent.
And the proper pronunciation of that little town is Squim.
Didn't I say Squim?
Squim. You said kind of Sequim.
Well, no, I started to say that and then said Squim.
But people say it on TV shows. They're getting paid actual money,
and
they'll say sequim.
Yeah, well,
my mother-in-law used to call it that.
That would be some people. Yes, I think she falls under some people.
Some people.
Rogan donation.
Yeah, it's live, everybody.
Adams.
Yeah, live.
24033 from Ventura, California. Hi, guys. I've been listening to every episode since Adam's first JRE appearance. I love you guys so much. Thank you for your courage and keeping my amygdala uninflamed or engorged. Unengorged, I would say, or keep it from being engorged. Okay. This is my first of many donations. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I've hit my co-worker Josh in the mouth a bit back. He started as a captive audience riding shotgun in the work truck and has himself become captivated, in turn hitting other people in the mouth. Despite this, he has not donated yet. Please call him out as a douchebag. Douchebag. I'll keep this short. Too late.
Yeah.
I'll keep this short out of love and respect. Jingles. Obama, you might die, little girl. Yay, I've got ants and TPP Jobs Karma for everyone who needs it. Gabriel from the beautiful San Buenaventura, California. Bye, E.
you might die.
Yay! All right. Man, we need a shorter version of ants as well.
I got ants. I got ants.
Jobs, and jobs. You've got karma.
Yeah, not messing around.
I like the idea of using the I got ants thing as kind of as a bed.
As an opening bed. Yeah, I try to back time that a bit.
Very cute. Yeah. Very cute. Very cute.
Like, too tight for the market.
We do it live.
That's right.
Gavin Blowman does it live. He's in Coleman's Hatch, East Sussex, UK, 23456.
I think it might be Bloomin'. I don't think it's Blowman. I think it's Bloomin'.
Could be Bloomin', but it's spelled Blowman on here.
With a W?
B-L-O-E.
Oh.
That's Bloomin'. Probably Bloomin'. ITM, men. Just getting used to your lingo. Started listening. Yes, we have lingo.
Yes, we do have
lingo.
We got lingo.
We got lingo. Started listening to you after asking myself what all the fuss is about with the Joe Rogan show. That was the first and last JR episode, and it launched me straight into the No Agenda show. Well, that's a coincidence. He listens to Rogan once.
Boom.
And catches Adam.
Boom.
When Adam was on my favorite podcast, THC with Greg.
The higher side chat.
I knew it was time to send you some of my treasure. Your show has accompanied me, my drop-dead gorgeous girlfriend, and our little one across Europe as we made our long journey from Bojo's house arrest, UK, to the current more free kingdom of Meatballia, Sweden, where she's from.
Wow.
She says that listening to the No Agenda show is like listening to emojis for 3 hours. So sadly, she'll always be a douchebag.
No, that's not true. Stick with her,
but
man.
For me,
Have
I would like that de-douching that I do.
Yeah, if you don't mind, you got it.
You've been de-douched.
Please play that woman saying, "That's true. I don't have a clue who she is, but she always has a calming effect on me." I hope she reads audiobooks somewhere. I would listen to those.
Oh, my goodness. He needs an education, John. These are your chicks? What is their name again?
Oh, I'll finish his note first. Finally, it's my birthday on Groundhog Day 43, so please add me to the list. So today was Groundhog Day, is that right? Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Is that today?
Well, we missed an opportunity.
Well, yes. For those who are new to the program, I do have a 1-minute explanatory clip. They are known as the Angelic Initiative. They speak and communicate with the higher power river of consciousness. Yep. And it's a mother-daughter combo, and here's what it sounds like.
You know what's one of the really sad things about all this?
No.
It's the YouTube comments that we read where it seems like people just don't care what's true or what's real.
Yeah, they don't care.
Or what's actually going on.
Yeah, they don't care at all.
And the big guys upstairs could tell them exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And tell it to them in a way that's relatable.
Yeah.
And clear.
Yeah.
And relevant to their own personal life.
Very relevant.
And the people just wouldn't want to listen to it.
They don't want to hear it.
And it's such a bummer for them.
I don't want to do it, and you can't make me. But they don't even want to listen. And it's really weird. I think it's actually better, this latest crew, because they at least acknowledge that there is a God. And the first crew was arguing that God's a scam.
Wait for it.
Which was
That's true. There it is.
I don't even know where you start with that. And this latest crew, they at least know there's a God.
Yeah, they seem to be on board that there are
higher powers, but then it all breaks down because they don't seem to care about reality, and reality matters. It does matter.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we did that. Now you're up to speed on the riveting work of the Angelic Initiative, who had promised us great fortune in 2019.
Yeah, I discovered them looking for the white alternative to diamond and silk. And this is the best I could do.
So, yes. So if you feel calming, that's right, because that's how it's supposed to work.
That's true.
Beautiful.
Jeffrey Elisha. That's the way I would have pronounced it. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 225. Goat karma, please.
You've got karma.
Rachel Adler comes in from Punta Gorda, Florida, 21120. The Frau and I have been listening since Adam's Rogan episode.
Ding ding.
The Roganites are very generous people.
They are.
Anita de-douching.
Yeah, we got that.
You've been de-douched.
I realized that the wife's favorite number combo equals 33.
Ooh.
Request house selling karma and China is asshole, and that's true again. Coincidence? And that's true for Jingles. Wish I could tell you all the reasons. Chiba is asshole.
Yeah, I think we know what you're talking about.
China is asshole.
That's true.
You've got karma.
We have a whole slew of $200 donors. It's just kind of interesting. Peter Johnson in Winter Springs, Florida, starts us off. No Agenda newsletter says donations were down today. They were. And you guys all made up for it. I really appreciate that personally. Figure it's time to send another fifth of my knighthood over. The newsletter, bullying works. Sometimes. Thank you both it only works a few times a year, believe me. Thank you for all the work you do and the producers for their time, talent, and treasure. I'd like to call my brother Jeff out as a douchebag. Douchebag. He hit me in the mouth years ago and is yet to donate. Go Gators. Jingle request, dealer's choice plus a R2D2 karma.
R2D2 karma and dealer's request. Dealer's choice.
I've got Pabst Blue Ribbon on my mind.
You've got.
I didn't expect that one.
Karma.
Well, I have, since you keep opening Pabst Blue Ribbon on the show, I figure we'd get a couple of...
Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Yeah, baby.
Stephen Kunkel in Atlanta, Georgia, 200. No jingles, no karma. Just wanted to report back that the angry Trump jobs karma worked marvelously for my wife back in Q4 2020.
Nice.
Also, apparently there was already a cirrhosis from California when I was knighted last year, so I'm requested a title change to Sriracha sauce. Wow.
No problem.
That's a good one.
Sriracha sauce, yes.
Sriracha sauce.
Yes.
This is a pun meister, our friend here.
I like it.
Apologies to the original cirrhosis for my Biden-esque plagiarism, although mine was unintentional. I think Biden's is too. He can't remember all that stuff.
No.
Sriracha from Brookhaven. He's in Brookhaven, a little suburb. Ryan Calderon in Warren, Rhode Island, also 200. He needs Soros found memories of being a Nazi, jobs karma, TPP, and normal karma.
Okay, so now I have it, and it's only 30 seconds, but why would you be like, oh, man, I really, really want to hear Soros talking about how he loved being a Nazi as a kid? It's just interesting.
It's very funny, this clip.
It's a good clip.
He wants jobs and moving karma. My wife and I are both seeking alternative employment, hopefully in the Houston area, as we're planning on escaping the state formerly known as Rhode Island and Providence Plantations.
Yes, not allowed to say it anymore. It's been changed.
You're going to love it in Houston.
Yeah.
By trade, we're both marketers, myself forging my own portfolio as a moonlighting copywriter for the past half decade. Given John's status as an elite writer, journalist, and archivist, I suspect his swipe file is a treasure that likes no one has ever known. Any chance he can share some poignant examples on No Agenda Social?
What is a swipe file?
I don't know. No Agenda Social, it's something there's some reference to some back east marketing term. It's a back east marketing term. Stuff I've accumulated. I used to, on the early days of No Agenda Social, I used to inundate them with these posts of the crazy shit I've collected.
Oh.
I'll do it again once in a while. He is Panopticon at Panopticon on No Agenda Social, so say hi to him. Soon to be, hopefully, Sir Panopticon by the end of the year. Note is already too long. Yeah, not really, but it's not short either. Okay, thanks.
It was actually
I don't know what we're going to do about the Soros.
Oh, I got it here. Listen closely.
It was actually probably the happiest year of my life, that year of German occupation. For me, it was a very positive experience. It's a strange thing, because you see incredible suffering around you, and in fact, you're in considerable danger yourself. But you're 14 years old and you don't believe that it can actually touch you. You have a belief in yourself, your belief in your father. It's a very happy-making, exhilarating experience.
Donald loves Nazis. Donald loves Nazis. CNN say that he's KKK, and he shouts Sig Heil with it. Wow.
Jobs.
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 Jobs. Jobs.
And jobs.
You've got karma.
A little artistic flair there added to it.
That was nice. Yeah. Matthew Wilson, meanwhile, comes in with $200. I don't have a note from him, and I could not find a note. And he can send us something if he wants us to read it at some later date. We do have a couple make goods today from the same exact situation. And one of them was my fault. I have to take credit for that.
Was this Core for Wurt?
Core, yeah, because it did come in on a Wednesday, and I never caught it. And so we'll read it today. But meanwhile, last on the list is Jim Van Beveren, and he wrote a note in pencil Here's my first donation for 2021. I'd like to, and he came in with $200. I'd like to posit, he uses the word, I'd like to posit a new meme.
Okay.
Do people know or care that the COVID vaccine was created with a new programming language, Bio-DOS 1.0? DOS equals death of slaves, or dumb obedient sheep, or demonic operating system. Keep up the good work, Jim VB.
Thanks. So encouraging. Should I do these make goods here since we're here?
Yes, please.
From Kerry Rollins, who made a donation of 67 Aussie bucks via PayPal. That was for the last episode, 1316. Included a very small note which was overlooked. Well, $50 is typically, we don't promise it, but I'm happy to give you a dedouching. We do always try to do that. As Carrie says, could I please get a dedouching for my fish donation? I also want to credit the person that hit me in the mouth, Saddle Tramp, a.k.a. Brianna Beasley. I started listening in November, and you have made me sane. Yes, dedouching for you.
You've been dedouched.
And Cor Verwoerts, we could not find his note at the time. I'm donating this money for my smoking hot wife, Emma, he said on the last episode. She's the owner of a hair salon in the small town of Woudenberg in the Netherlands. She has been struggling financially due to the lockdown and shutdown of her hair salon by order of Mark Build Back Better Rutte. That's the prime minister. She desperately needs a Trump-Pelosi jobs karma for when the time comes and she can open up again. She and the girls working with her remain in good spirit. I'm really proud of them all. Babe, I love you, and I know you'll win in the end. Love, hubby. Oh, and please call out Eep and Bert as douchebags for listening to the show for years and never donating. Douchebag. They hit me in the mouth, and I beat them to it. Very good, Cor. So, yes, of course, we'll give them a jobs card.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Actually,
karma.
I think we're supposed to be the Trump and Nancy.
Jobs,
jobs,
that's the one.
Jobs,
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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
There we go.
You've got karma.
Ah, we got him. Ah, we got him. Thank you all very much for supporting the No Agenda Show. This is episode 1317. All of the aforementioned people receive credits, official titles for this episode, which is executive producer, and $200 up to $300 is associate executive producer of the No Agenda Show. You can display that proudly wherever credits are recognized. Increasingly more places, including IMDb, where we have many super famous producers. Go take a look. You'll see it. And if you'd like to keep supporting us, or if you'd like to grab one of these titles for yourself, all you have to do is go to our fabulously planned out donation page.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And thank you for your time, your talent, and specifically your treasure in the No Agenda Value for Value model.
Formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
I got a little Davos douchebags report.
Ooh, Davos douchebags.
Yes, the Davos douchebags. Their week is on. It's a lot more fun than previous years.
That's because they've gone completely nuts.
They've gone completely nuts. They're completely virtual. So you no longer do you have to have CNBC on all day to catch an interview with one of these elites, and then you have to wait for, the stage conference. No, it's all packaged together. It's all done on online. You can get the videos really easily. And they've done something very dumb, but it's fun for us, is they have hired YouTubers to create the Daily Davos magazine. So you've got I just took one example of this from the first day, and I will do the next days myself with a couple of quick clips. But yeah, so they have YouTubers, and they're paying them to go, "Hi guys, look what's going on at Davos. Davos? Well, check this out.
This is the Davos Daily, your go-to source for the biggest highlights of the Davos agenda.
We are waging war on nature and destroying our life support system, and nature is striking back.
There is a very strong awareness by people that climate change is an issue that must be dealt with as a matter of priority.
Unions already knew the crisis we face before the pandemic hit. The climate emergency, historical levels of inequality driving exclusion, anger and despair. And COVID-19 laid that bare. So we've got choices now. Will people be at the forefront with their environment of a new social contract, or will we see business as usual? So this week is very important.
I'm going to be real with you. If you're like me, sometimes hearing all this stuff can feel overwhelming and you don't know what to do. But the thing is, if we come together, we can all do something. It's so important now more than ever to pay attention and to act.
So if you're like me, you found that a very unhelpful report. And why in God's name they think this is going to motivate anybody or further the Davos agenda is beyond me. So
drugs were involved.
I think so. So I've broken up one of these dumb reports just to give you the quick sound bites and tell you who they are. So you get an idea of what the agenda is. As we start with the party planner himself, Klaus Schwab.
It's the same we have to apply now on a global level. As long as not everybody is vaccinated, nobody will be safe.
Okay, just so you know, the message is as long as we don't have every single person vaccinated, nobody is safe. And Bibi Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, he knows what's up.
We're in an arms race, except it's not an arms race. It's a race between vaccination and mutation. There are more mutations. There'll be more mutations in the future.
This is literally all I have from these people. The press, obviously, all kinds of problems with fake news in the press. This is on the Davos agenda.
We have two enemies here, two conflating pressures on the press at this moment. It's like the two P's. It's the pandemic and there's populism. And out of the populism is coming this misinformation that's driving agendas that are singular in view. When we see all of this pressure that's happening on the press and then we compound it, there's an information bankruptcy that we're experiencing.
Information bankruptcy. Let's bring in the Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte. Not looking good for the lowlands.
840 million people worldwide are not assured of access to enough food. This number is staggering. Secondly, the various crises the world is faced with, not just COVID, the recession, the climate change, and the biodiversity collapse.
So we're all going to starve. Thanks, Mark. Let's talk to the president of the European Union, the head honcho, the new lady, the Nina Brink version 2, von der Leyen. She's concerned about American technology companies.
The business model of online platforms has an impact, and not only on free and fair competition, but also on our democracies, our security, and on the quality of our information. And that is why we need to contain this immense power of the big digital companies.
To communicate only the things that we want them to communicate. How can you do a conference like this? How can you have a Davos without bringing in the OG, the big man, to kick it off, what it's all really about? This is not about the pandemic, people. You know what it's really about.
We are now seeing a transition in the political world that may come to match the transition in technologies. We've seen it in renewable electricity generation. We're seeing it in other sectors. And now in the political world, we saw major new commitments by the European Union, by China, by Japan, by South Korea. And now the world appears to be close to a new alignment.
Woo! It's going great. And if you need some star appeal...
You didn't mention who that was.
Al Gore. You didn't hear that was Al Gore?
I know I could hear it was Al Gore, but it was... I have to say this. These guys are making a huge mistake putting out such shoddy sound.
Horrible quality. And they've got music under everything. And then
Makes it worse.
And then, yes. And then this final one, they brought in the celebrity power... And they gave him the authoritative echo that Iron Man deserves. I give you Robert Downey Jr.
I'm here to accelerate groundbreaking technologies that are addressing this existential crisis, and I want to open up access. I want you to feel that, and I want you to participate.
I'm never watching one of his movies again.
He only plays the one character nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I'm not watching. It's just what a bunch of shills. So
this is the worst thing they've ever done. This is going to ruin their whole reputation. This is because they've lost the plot.
I think so. And I don't know who's producing it. That's the question. Who comes up with this as production ideas?
I'm going to mention a little anecdote.
Please do.
About what was once the Media Lab in MIT, which is kind of taken down the wrong way by Joe Ito after he was busted for being
kind of.
But during the day when Nick Negroponte was running it, I got a tour of the thing, and without having to sign off on it because I was going there with the Hearst Corporation. I've told this story before, but they did a presentation on it on this one fact, and I always thought it was interesting because people that you until the very end you don't kind of get it. They did a study on video screens, and they had these video screens, and they made people judge how sharp the screens were. And one screen was surrounded by normal sound, not as bad as what you just played.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was surrounded by super high fidelity, really sharp dynamite sound. And without exception, the screens that had the dynamite sound were always judged as being sharper and better and with better contrast and everything in between.
Yes.
And they were identical screens.
Any good television producer, and certainly editors will know, it's all about the audio. You can have reality shows. You can have the crappiest video as long as the sound is good. I think that's 70% of the whole battle right there.
Yes. And this is fairly well known. Apparently, and I said the word right the first time today, maybe not, Davos doesn't know this fact.
No. Well, if you give all your raw material to YouTubers and you say put it together, it's the same thing as the Dr. Cat videos. They've got the dumb shits from the World Health Organization. They trained them at the UN. They gave them jackets and hoodies, and they said, "Oh, we're Team Halo." And they go out there and they talk crap on TikTok. This is. Do you remember back in the day? Well, let's see. When YouTube first, even a little bit before that, as YouTube was just coming up, I think we had. I don't know when the phenomenon started, but I think I still had my. I was still at the big company at Think New Ideas, and big clients, would come up and they'd have meetings. Okay, here's what we want from you guys. We want a viral video.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
That's an old joke that goes way back.
But it's not a joke.
People actually did that.
It's not a joke. It happened. People would
No, I'm saying people actually, I said that. People actually did that. They would ask for a viral video.
Yeah.
Not understanding that you can't do that.
Well, if you're YouTube, you can. I give you Coney 2012. But, yeah, in general, you can't do it. And I think that's why the advertising agencies got bypassed and the big brands just went straight to YouTube and said, give me a viral video. And YouTube went, okay. Don't you think?
I don't know. The whole idea of it's just... Let's back to Davos is pathetic what you played. Pathetic.
We knew that no way did that Coney 2012 video get 100 million views overnight.
No, it was a fake.
No way.
Somebody had busted the algorithm.
There was someone tracked the likes and dislikes on YouTube for the White House page. And if you look at the graphs, it's fantastic. You can see that they chop the dislikes. The guy had a computer script. It would go in every 80 seconds. He would get the number from the YouTube page of the likes versus the dislikes. And you see a typical curve of the likes much larger than the dislikes. But as the dislikes come up, all of a sudden, it's chopped down and it just goes into a sawtooth, almost a flat line with a sawtooth, completely inconsistent with the likes. So they are from what I can tell, if you look at the graphs, they are rigging the numbers of the dislikes on the White House YouTube page as if somehow when their customers say, they're not their customers, but when their users say, oh, we don't like this, and they hit the thumbs down, someone is so maniacal, oh, we can't have that, we have to stop that. It could be maybe 2% could be thumbs down, but we've got to stop it. And they do this. And people believe in these numbers. That's always the amazing thing to me. Really? That's what you think your numbers are? Who knows?
Yeah, well, the Coney 20, whatever it was,
2012
was the best example of all this bull crap.
Following on your Joy Ito from MIT, I don't want to connect this to him, but former CBS News executive producer Craig Unger has been out on a couple of podcasts, and he swears that he has seen Epstein tapes from the confiscated DVDs, or I don't know if it's tape or DVD, and why not? He claims that there's there's footage, I think, of Trump with two youngish ladies, and he's got a stain on his pants. It's pretty rank. Have a listen.
He was showing around a photo of Trump with two young girls who were half naked, and there was sort of an embarrassing stain on Trump's trousers, that was suggestive. I got the impression when he was showing that photo around that there was an implicit threat that he may have dirt on Donald Trump and he may pull the plug if necessary, but he never did.
Did they, they had videotapes of everybody, they claimed, at least Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein claimed. Is that potentially some of the compromise that Russia has
that brings up
Trump?
That brings up the saga of John Mark Dugan, who was in the Palm Beach Sheriff's Department when they were investigating Epstein around 2005. And one of the investigators could see the pressure coming down on the investigation. So he gave a small vault to Dugan for safekeeping that contained, Dugan told me, 478 DVDs that were apparently sexual compromise.
I'm going to miss President Trump. Why can't they find anything on somebody else? It's always Trump.
They can't. No, it's always Trump. Trump.
But they have proof. The tapes exist.
So all those tapes of all these famous people, including possibly Donald Trump, is sitting there in somewhere in Putin's orbit in the Kremlin.
And by the way, I did see one tape. Dugan showed me one. And I should say it was black and white, very grainy. I'm not going to say the name. He identified the man, or said he did. I could not confirm.
Stop. He identified Trump? Now he's not going to say the name of this other person?
No. Why do that? Why do that? No.
I'm not going to say the name.
No, can't do that. No, that'd be wrong.
I'm not going to say the name. He identified the man, or said he did. I could not confirm the identity, but it was an executive in New York who made a lot of money, but his name wouldn't excite a lot of people.
Okay. So Putin apparently has the goods. He has the 487 tapes. How's Putin's relationship with President Joe Biden?
And now Putin's fifth U.S. presidency. He was one of the last world leaders to acknowledge Biden won the election, as Biden vows to be tough on Russia. The two spoke for the first time since the inauguration and were told that they discussed arms control and Ukraine and a number of other topics. But for a preview of what to expect over the next 4 years, here is one quote to keep in mind. In Evan Osnos's Biden biography, Biden described a meeting that he had with Putin while in Russia back in 2011. Quote, "Mr. Prime Minister, I'm looking into your eyes and I don't think you have a soul." And Putin looked back at me and he smiled and he said, "We understand one another."
What a bull crap story.
CNN, man. What are you going to do? That's all they got. So this purge is still ongoing. Have you been following? I think you were the first one who introduced us to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe so.
And now, so I've been seeing this this story going around, which came up last night, about her claiming that the California wildfires were set by Jewish space lasers. Is this how you've heard it as well?
No, but it's interesting.
Well, this is the headline of the Jewish space lasers. Let me see if I have a...
this is really more up your alley.
Well, yeah, that's why I looked at it. And, so last night, Saturday Night Live took it to a next new level. I didn't see it. I only got a couple pings this morning, so I just took the beginning. And it's a dumb talk show where, what's her name, Kate McKinnon is interviewing different people from the last few weeks, and she's got a GameStop shorter, which of course is completely misrepresented. But she starts off with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and even though it's meant as humorous, if you listen to what she's saying, this is precisely what is being printed in mainstream publications and on cable news channels. And I'll read you what she's actually said, but let's hear Saturday Night Live. So it sounds like a joke, but this is being said over everywhere, in especially MSNBC.
Our first topic is government, and already I have my doubts. Joining us is a congresswoman from Georgia who's been promoting QAnon conspiracy theories. Please welcome Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Hi. Thanks for having me. Gun?
Oh, no, thank you. I'm good.
Okay.
Congresswoman Greene, hard to say those words together. What are some of the theories you believe in and have been promoting?
How much time you got?
For you, very little.
Well, first off, I believe the Parkland shooting was a hoax. The teachers were actors and the children were dolls. I believe 9/11 was a hoax. Did anyone actually see it happen? I've also told my supporters that they should physically murder Nancy Pelosi. She's this lady I work with.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Thank you.
Oh, and this is a new one that just came out. I think that the California wildfires were caused by Jewish space lasers.
So there are lasers in space that cause wildfires, and the lasers identify as Jewish.
Yeah, correct.
And those are real things you believe and tell other people about?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And you're a U.S. representative?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You represent the U.S.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
People can Google you and it'll say...
All right, so you get the idea. And it wasn't very funny. You can hear people aren't really even laughing. In fact, they cheered Pete Davidson, who showed up as the GameStop kid, which I think was the opposite of the intent. But here's what she wrote in November 17, 2018. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a freshman in the House of Representatives. She's not been in office before. So this is now 3 years ago, 18, 20, 2 years ago. And this is what she posted. As there are now over 70 people confirmed dead and over 1,000 missing, the fires in California are a horrific tragedy. I'm praying for all involved. I'm posting this in speculation because there are too many coincidences to ignore and just putting it out there for some research I've done stemming from my curiosity over PG&E stocks, which tanked all week, then rallied Thursday night after California officials announced they would not let PG&E fail. I find it very interesting that Roger Kimmel, who's on the board of directors of PGE, is also vice chairman of Rothschild Inc., international investment banking firm. She never says Jewish, but saying he's the vice chairman of Rothschild Inc., international investment banking firm, I think is enough. I also find interesting the long history of financial contributions that PG&E has made to Jerry Brown over the years and millions spent in lobbying. What a coincidence. It must be that Governor Brown signed a bill in September of 2018 protecting PG&E, allowing PG&E to pass off its cost of fire responsibility to its customers in rate hikes and through bonds. It must also be a coincidence, we've talked about this, that the fires are burning in the same projected areas as the $77 billion high-speed rail project is to be built, which also happens to be Governor Brown's pet project. And what are the odds that Feinstein's husband, Richard Bloom, is the contractor on the rail project? Geez, with that much money, we could build 3 U.S. southern border walls. Then, oddly, there are all these people who have said they saw what looked like lasers or blue beams of light causing the fires, and they have pictures and videos. I don't know anything about it, but I do find it really curious that PG&E's partnership with Solarin is about space solar generators starting back in 2009. They announced the launch into space in March 2018 and maybe even put them up before that. Space solar generators collect the sun's energy and then beam it back to Earth to a transmitter to convert to electricity. The idea is to make clean energy to replace coal and oil. If they're beaming the sun's energy back to Earth, I'm sure they wouldn't ever miss a transmitter receiving station, right? I mean, mistakes are never made when anything new is invented. Could that have caused the fire? I don't know. I hope not. So what she doesn't say is Jewish lasers from outer space. And this is now mainstream news and being made fun of in Saturday Night Live when she, as far as I can tell, she never actually said that. And okay, the space lasers, I can see where you get the space lasers. But to throw in the Jewish thing, you're just an asshole. You're just a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. That makes me so mad when people do that kind of stuff. To make her an anti-Semite. And this is the result.
We're taking a scalpel when it comes to the resolution that we're putting forward onto the floor. We're going to be very careful on why we're saying we're asking her to be expelled. I believe it's because of the violence she instigated on January 6th, the direct threats to other members' lives that she's done on social media. And I know it's not been during her time in office.
She wasn't even in office yet, Representative Jimmy Gomez. So they've got to throw her out.
Actually, a ways off.
Yeah. She's very, very dangerous. So dangerous that Ilhan Omar, the squad, wants her booted out.
That should be in Congress. Should the Republican Party not be the ones leading to remove her?
They should be. This person, as you've stated, is dangerous and violent. She's not only posed what many of us would consider a threat against myself and many of my colleagues, but she's harassed, people who have survived violence, children who've survived violence, and has lied about the deaths of so many children, and is re-victimizing their families. This is not somebody that should be in office. Someone said yesterday, instead of being in Congress, this person needs to be on a watch list. And if the Republican Party and its leadership, it's not going to do the work of removing her from Congress, we must do it.
Have you ever in your life, can you recall this taking place in the U.S. Congress?
Well, the closest is Al Franken getting hounded out of his job as a senator.
Yeah.
No. I can't think of any instances. I'm sure there's some that go back in history. Maybe not.
Right, but this is rampant. And they're just like she's like this horrible person. I don't know. I mean, she seems like a hard nose. Like she doesn't take any crap. But, geez.
Well, they're definitely out to get her. No doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
I should at least mention this. The fires were in no way anywhere near where the high-speed rail was supposed to go.
I know we talked about that.
Let's get that.
But again, this is a post from her from 2018.
Yeah, well, that's 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, so?
Well, the stuff about Pelosi, she did do that in 1999 or something, some way back, a long time ago.
What'd she do?
She said that Pelosi should be shot.
Yeah, that's...
He was in some post.
You can't just do that.
Well, she did it. In fact, probably for this, I have a couple old clips.
Mm-hmm.
This is how bad thing. This is going to come back, by the way. What we're going to hear is going to happen again. In 1992, these are clips from 1992, Congress was all in to an extreme on global warming. And they were going. Some conference came out of Brazil saying you have to do this, you have to do that, and it's mostly about Agenda 21. And we're on board, all the Democrats.
Yeah.
And it was this was when George H.W. Bush was president, and he was kind of shining him on. He wasn't really pushing back on it much. And so it got carried away. Nothing came of this. But when you listen to this, it's enough to frighten you. This is Earth Summit 1992. This is the U.S. Congress from C-SPAN.
States should assume a strong leadership role in implementing the decisions made at the Earth Summit by developing a national strategy to implement Agenda 21 and other Earth Summit agreements through domestic policy and...
Gosh, that by itself is a great little nugget. How many times have we heard people saying, that's just a conspiracy theory, man, or something like that?
Yeah.
And there it is, right up front. 1992.
States should assume a strong leadership role in implementing the decisions made at the Earth Summit by developing a national strategy to implement Agenda 21 and other Earth Summit agreements through domestic policy and foreign policy, by cooperating with all countries to identify and initiate further agreements to protect the global environment, and by supporting and participating in a high-level United Nations Sustainable Development Commission.
Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from New York, Mr. Engel, will be recognized for 20 minutes, and the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Broomfield, will be recognized for 20 minutes. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from New York.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume and ask leave to revise and extend my remarks.
Objection so ordered. The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong support of H-Con Res 353, expressing the sense of the Congress that the United States should assume a strong leadership role in implementing the decisions made at the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, developing a national strategy to implement Agenda 21 and other Earth Summit agreements through domestic policy and foreign policy, by cooperating with all countries to identify and initiate further agreements to protect the global environment, and by supporting and participating in a high-level United Nations Sustainable Development Commission as amended. I now yield to the gentlewoman from California, Ms. Pelosi, the sponsor, to explain the resolution.
The gentlewoman from California is recognized.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the gentleman for yielding. In fact, it is a very simple resolution, which the gentleman has just mostly explained. I would, Mr. Speaker, like to take a moment to thank Chairman Fassel and Mr. Broomfield, Mr. Yatron and Mr. Bereiter, the chair and ranking member of the subcommittee, and the members of the Foreign Affairs Committee for their assistance in expediting consideration of this legislation. The Earth Summit Environmental Leadership Act, as this is known, presents us with an opportunity to follow up on the important work of the Earth Summit to develop its blueprint, Agenda 21, for global environmental action. H-Con Res 353 outlines a comprehensive national strategy for sustainable development in accordance with the principles of Agenda 21, to be coordinated under the leadership of a specific office and at the direction of a high-level government official. The resolution also urges the United States to identify and initiate further agreements to protect the global environment and to support the creation of a high-level United Nations Sustainable Development Commission headed by an Undersecretary General. Third and lastly, the President is urged to report to Congress on the progress made on with this action. H-Con Res 353 is supported by the administration. I have been in contact with the appropriate offices of the State Department and have incorporated their suggestions into the resolution. The 71 co-sponsors of this measure include one-half the members of the Foreign Affairs Committee and all of the House delegates to the Earth Summit. It is also supported by the major United States non-governmental organizations concerned with the environmental issues.
I did not know that there was so much discussion about Agenda 2021 and the Sustainable Development Goals in 1992.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, I'm going to give you, you need a clip of the day for that. At minimum. Where did you find that? Just out there on the C-SPANs?
Clip of the day. Somebody clued me into it, and then I downloaded it.
Nice.
This is part 2, and they continue this conspiracy about Agenda 21 and some of the things that were supposed to happen. And HW seems to have said, yeah, we should do all this New World Order stuff.
Well, he was the New World Order guy.
He was the New World Order guy, yeah. The Bushies.
The Earth Summit presented world leaders with an opportunity that should not be lost. We must now embark on a new course that will sustain our planet and its resources for the benefit of future generations. This resolution calls on the United States to assert its leadership to achieve this goal. I urge my colleagues to support this resolution. Thanks again to the members of the Foreign Affairs Committee for their recognition of the importance and timeliness of this resolution. We must make the promise of Rio a reality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentleman from Michigan.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I need, and I ask permission to revise and extend my remarks.
Without objection to order, the gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I do support this resolution, which expresses the sense of Congress with respect to implementing the decisions of the recent United Nations Conference on Environment and Development. And I do want to express and commend the gentlelady from California, Mrs. Pelosi, for her sponsorship of this important resolution. Mr. Speaker, despite all of the criticism of the administration policy toward the Earth Summit, the fact is that the United States government made a very constructive contribution in Rio and in the talks that led to the meeting in Rio. Largely as a result of the conference, they adopted 4 major items: the Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, the lengthy action plan referred to as Agenda 21, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, and the non-binding but authoritative principles for the management and conservation of forest resources. In addition, the conference adopted the UN Biodiversity Convention, which the administration decided not to join at this time. And this was due to concerns about intellectual property and also the decision-making and funding mechanism. The administration has already made a good beginning in implementing the results of the conference. And during the talks on climate, the administration pledged $75 million for related projects in developing countries, including the development of national plans. The President announced that the United States would have our own national plan on climate ready by the end of the year in order to start international consultations in January of 1993.
Jeez. That's gold.
Yeah.
That's some gold
kidding.
Right there, man. That's gold. I had no idea that Agenda 2021 was was discussed to that degree in open.
Yeah, they're all in.
And now it's
Democrats and Republicans. You didn't hear anybody objecting to it.
No. And now if you even say Agenda 21, it's like, yeah, team full hat, man. It's team full hat. It's like,
the way I see it,
yeah.
Somehow the country dodged a bullet.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can do the same with the latest from your friend Sarbanes, who is the main sponsor introduced into committee HR 1, the For the People Act of 2021. Have you seen this?
Yeah, we've both, I think, looked at it. I've been reading it and realized that it's not going to go anywhere. So for one thing, it's 800 pages.
Yeah, well, that doesn't scare me.
Well, no, I'm saying it scares them. No one's going to read it.
We're reading it.
We're not in Congress.
Well, yeah, you're right. Last time I checked.
I mean, I can only drink so much.
Here's the question I have for you about it. So this is another one of these monster bills. And whenever it's For the People Act, what's going to happen is people are going to get it.
It's not for the people.
You're going to get up your ass is what you're going to. Hey, people, here it is. But its main sections that I've seen so far is voting, campaign finance, and ethics. And I don't understand. They've written these hundreds of pages of voting rules, which I thought isn't that completely decentralized to the states?
It's supposed to be the states determine this. Yes. But this bill is probably unconstitutional.
But that's what I was thinking. Yeah. It's like, and provision of election information by electronic mail to individuals, clarification of requirement regarding necessary information to show eligibility, it's like there will be, you don't have to prove that you're voting. They're going to have mail-in.
No, and you just wander up and vote.
Yeah, you have mail-in and with drop boxes all codified now into law. If anything like this would ever pass, which I don't think so. But there is fear. There is fear out there.
Then when you get to the back end of this bill, there's all this ethics stuff. It's like they're not going to sign off on this.
It's hilarious. It's like
you can't take a jet plane ride. You can't collect more than. Here's a good one that's in there. I forgot about this one. If you cannot spend more than $50,000 of your own money on a campaign ever.
Oh, right. Okay.
So Bloomberg's whole campaign would have been illegal.
Illegal, yeah.
No, it's a dead. I think it's some sort of virtue signaling or a threat.
Well, they already had
There's something's important about this bill, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, well, that is all right. I like that stance. We'll have to find out what is it about this bill that's important. For them not to pass it, but maybe carve out one individual piece. For sure, I think they're coming after our money. How about that?
Oh, well, there's always that. That's given.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
And we do have a few people to thank for show 1317, I believe.
Yep, 1317, baby.
Marion Roman in New York City, 133.33. Charles Bennett in McCall, Idaho, 133.33. He's given you a tip on something to look into. Sir Harry Pilgrim, the baronet of Massachusetts.
Is he back again? Harry's back for a double dip?
Well, no, the other thing was I gave him he has the 30th.
Oh, right.
I read it earlier.
Gotcha.
But he wanted a bunch of other stuff that is just not happening. Sir J.C. the Schmid in Sugarloaf, California, 131.91. He does get something. He needs a de-douching.
No, we can do that.
You've been de-douched.
He's got a white-hot wife, and this is her 30th birthday on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's supposed to be a call-out on here, and I don't see it.
A call-out, you say? Are we missing a
call-out for douchebag call-out? I don't see it.
For Sir J.C. the Smid? Kevin.
Why don't you?
Here
there it is.
I got it. Kevin, you're a douchebag.
Douchebag. Derek Craig in Glasgow, UK, 10101.
Also a birthday. That's 50th for him. Okay. Yep, you're on it. You got it. You're on.
Catherine and Steve Zeiser in Long Beach, California, $100. Sir Proteus, $100 in Newark, Delaware. Jennifer Sayer, $100. Jeremy Slate, Harrisburg, New Jersey, $100. Tommy Barnes in Midland, Texas, $100. Sir Craig Porter, 8008 in Portland, Oregon. Yeah, N7FSN, 73s. Aaron Groon, I think, for his wife Stephanie, put it on the accounting. In Meade, Nebraska, 8008. Trish Ryan in Hamilton, Ontario. Hamilton, Ohio.
Yes.
Hamilton, Ohio. 7777 AMC donation. That's Michael Soderberg in Savage, Minnesota.
Who is a Roganite and says, I love it when you make fun of both sides of the political aisle. You're worth way more than $76 a year, but that's all I got. No, that is your value, man. So we're top value for you.
76
is
that. Good.
Yeah.
Named after Union 76. Good gasoline in its day. Nicholas Brownstead in Chicago, Illinois, 6969. Jason Babcock in Henderson, Nevada, 6750. Todd Edgel in Bedford, Texas, 6666. Jason Kaiser in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Go Packers. Oops, they lost. 6006. He needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
And he needs to call out his brother Tim Kaiser and his wife Helga as douchebags.
Douchebag. Let me do two.
Douchebag. Meanwhile, Alicia Kaiser, from Green Bay, comes in with the same amount, 6006. Somebody's got small boobs, and she needs a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
And she says, thanks to my smoking hot husband, Jason, for punching me in the face.
Nice!
Yeesh. Andrew Brown in London, Ontario, 5678. Judy Schwartz in Bern, Texas. Love you, John, she says. 5555.
Bernie.
Sir Bernie. Is it Bernie? I can't remember. It's Bern or Bernie.
It's Bernie, Texas, yeah.
Bernie, Texas.
Yeah.
Sir Marcus of the Hinterland in, Dotfatal. I'm thinking. Deutschland.
It's Dauphintal.
There's no N in there. How can it be Dauphintal?
Dauphintal. Well, I think it's misspelled no matter what.
Peter, that could be. Peter Chong in Lakewood, Washington, 5510. Sir Titsi, not from Matitsi, 5510. He's got some complaint about us.
He has his wonderful wife, Pickles, who's going to celebrate.
Pickles?
Yep. So we've got
what a great nickname.
On the list, yep.
How you doing, Pickles? Sir Laughs a Lot, or Laugh a Lot, Metairie, Louisiana, 5510. Gregory Kierdak in Padova, Italy. Hey.
Padova.
Love you both, no homo, he says.
Hey. Love you, mean it.
Eric Hokel in Mulrose, Deutschland, $52. Regular, he's got to be. He's Sir Eric, let's face it.
He owns Deutschland.
Shannon Atkins, 50. Baron Sir Economic Hitman in Houston, $50.01, got a birthday. Sir Andy Kluber in Terre Haute, Indiana, is 50. The following people are all $50 donors. Name and location. Sir Lyman of the Net in Anna, Illinois. Rodney Lillibridge in Lewiston, Idaho. Luke Newport in St. Peters, Missouri. Hugo Salgado, and he's in parts unknown. Tony Lang in Castle Pines, Colorado. Amy Weaver in Fair Oaks, California. Timothy Moore in Arlington, Texas. And last but not least, David Schneider in Crested Butte, Colorado. I want to thank these folks for making this show possible.
Well, we went from potential sad puppy to doing just good. I'm so happy people heard your clarion call.
Yes, I am too.
Yeah, you sent out the bat signal. Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you all so much for supporting and producing episode 1317 of the No Agenda Show. And we thank everyone who came in under $50. For brevity, we can't thank everybody. But we have a lot of people who like to remain anonymous. That's why we cut it off. So I see you $49.99s, and it's appreciated. And then we have many people who have joined in one of our subscription offers, which really is, it's low numbers. So it's $11.11. We've got $5, $4, $33 on a monthly basis. That's sustaining, and it's really important for us. So even if you have donated for today, consider doing one of those. And where you can find it is over here.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thank you all so much for your courage.
It's your birthday.
Here is your birthday list. Sir J.C. the Smith says happy birthday to his sizzling, incredibly sexy, white-hot wife who turns 30. Derek Craig turns 50 today. Sir Stephen, happy birthday to his sister Barbara Witzberger, who turns 39 today. Christopher Cavaletto, happy birthday to Max, who turns 40. And he also says happy birthday to his son Antonio, who turns 19 on February 1st. Gavin Blumen, we think it is, 43 on the 2nd of February. Jennifer Sayer, happy birthday to her son David Walker, who turns 50 on the 3rd. Caleb Brinkman turns 33 turned 33 on August 25th. So you're somewhere in the middle, Caleb, but we celebrate your birthday no matter what. Sir Teets, not from Mid-Teets, celebrates, and Sir Woody, the birthday boy, soon to change his name. He celebrates on Groundhog Day, as does Baron Sir Economic Hitman, and Sir Lyman of the Net, who says happy birthday to Michelle. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah. Title changes. Turn and face the slave. Title changes. Don't want to be a douchebag.
Here we go. Title changes. Stephen Kunkel, who was Cirrhosis. You heard he came up with something new, and he changed the name to Sriracha Sauce of Brookhaven. And Sir Woody, the birthday boy, becomes Baron, and he will be known henceforth as Sir Woody, Baron of the Blood Run, South Dakota. Thank you both for supporting No Agenda in the amount of an additional $1,000 to climb up the peerage ladder. If you'd like to see more information on that, Dvorak.org/NA, or go to itm.im/peerage. I think we also have Dvorak.org/peerage.htm, all uppercase. Don't hold me to that. And 1, 2, 3 nightings today. Here's the blade for the end of January.
Here you go.
Okay. Oh, nice. Tommy in Minnesota, hop on up here. Frank Montwill, you are welcome here as well. And Christopher Cavaletto. Gentlemen, all three of you have supported the No Agenda Show in the amount of $1,000 or more. That gives you not just the privilege, but the right to be up here at the round table of our No Agenda knights and dames. And I'm very proud to pronounce to KD, Sir Golo, Sir Broken Glass of the Not So Grand Exit, and Sir Chris of the Benevolent Order of the Choo Choos. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. By request, we got pork chops and jalapeno poppers. We got sparkling cider and escorts, ginger ale and gerbils, breast milk and pablum, geishas and sake, Rubenesque women and rosé, and yes, we got your mutton and mead right here. Mutton and mead, always a staple, and I'm glad you ordered some other things here. Say hi to everybody. Just on your way out, make sure you stop by Eric the Shill's desk. He's at noagendanation.com/rings, and he'll make sure that once you get the appropriate sizes to us, that he'll get out the ring, your sealing wax, and your certificate of authenticity as soon as possible. And thank you all so much, again, for producing the best podcast in the universe.
No Agenda Meetup.
Well, now that some parts of Gitmo Nation are opening up and people can get out, but even I think some people are just getting bolder in certain countries around Gitmo Nation, and they are just going to the meetups. You can find them at noagendameetups.com. If you need to obfuscate what you're doing, you can just say that you're part of noagendaprotest.com. Those websites both work. And we've had a number of reports come in from previous recent meetups. The first one is Alex, who I think is from Italy. He organized a couple of meetups around the EU. His short report.
Hello, Adamo and Giovanni. This is Alex with Miami and New York meetup report. Well, Miami was fantastic. We had 2 people plus me on WhatsApp. We chat a little bit along, and then we decided that nothing. We just skipped the place. And New York, I was supposed to go to New York, and then I decided to stick in beautiful Miami and let shithole New York sink. So anyhow, next Sunday I'm going to fly back to Europe. So I'll hope someone will come to Europe and enjoy life. And here you go. Thank you very much for your service. I also would like to say hello to the lady in Netherlands.
All right. I'm not quite sure if he was posting this on Tinder or if he was doing a meetup report. We had the Drinkin' and Scotty meetup.
All right, hold up. We're doing it live. Hi, TM, Adam, and John. This is Sir CB coming in from the Dallas house in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, where we're drinking in Scotty because Minnesota Nuts is still locked down. We've got a good ratio of 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 to 8, so not too bad. We have 3 nights on board. Very excited about that for our first go around. I'm going to pass the phone around. Everybody can say hello.
I'm Katie. I'm Sir CB's wife, and I'm his sugar mama. So I think that does not make me a douchebag.
This is Sir Coitus Root of the Scooter Clubs. Adam, I left my blade at home tonight.
This is Sir Eagle Eye, camp counselor at the Build Back Better re-education camps.
Hey, Rob the Reefer here. Just hit in the mouth about a week ago, and I'm donating tonight, so I guess I'm not a douchebag.
Peter, a perpetual douchebag, but I threw cash in.
I'm
I'm Ann. I don't even know where I'm at. They forced me to be here.
Hi, I'm Corey. I am at the Dallas house having an awesome time. Thank you.
I am about to claim my knighthood of Sir Plane Crash.
I'm Jody, and I'm a douchebag.
I'm Tracy, and I'm a douchebag, but not for long.
Douchebag Jake here saying, oofta.
Well, there you go, Adam and John. I hope you enjoyed our meetup report from the Dallas house. We got some cash on the table. We'll be sending you guys soon. And I just wanted to say, on a count of 3, 1, 2, 3, in the morning!
A little long, but thank you. Atlanta, come on in.
Hi, this is Mark Hansons. We're at the local Atlanta 404 meetup on, what is the date today? Saturday, January 30th? I got it. All right, I'm going to pass it around, and here we go.
Hi, this is Joseph. My first meetup, but I'm not a douchebag.
Dame Jennifer Weta of the Gypsy Nation, and fuck face diapers.
All right.
This is Sir Andy of the Hickory Flat, and I'm double masked.
This is Sir Spud the Mighty. Greetings to Crackpot and Buzzkill.
Hey guys, it's Squire Swan. They say Georgia's a blue state now, but I feel pretty good.
Hi, this is Maggie May, and we are not wearing our sweaty snot sacks.
This is Nick in the morning. Stay safe, John.
This is Sir Brian Warden, and I think that's it.
Atlanta 404 signing out. Thank you for your courage.
Before I play the next report, do you notice that the women are cussing? This is a trend. I'm not quite sure what.
These women, they're out of control.
I know. Well, the last report is probably the most professionally produced. DC Girl hosted the Arlington meetup.
Hey, this is DC Girl reporting from Spook Central, the Arlington meetup in the morning.
Bless you, boys. This is Dame Wannabe Lisa from Annapolis in the morning.
Hey, this is Bongo Boy staying negative in the morning. This is Roundy and
No Agenda Swine Flu Minute.
Hi, this is Bob from Annapolis, wishing the new administration lots of luck.
This is Sir Chris Abraham, and I am here. I was actually here early, believe it or not.
Producer Carl, still a member of the No Agenda Fat Boys Club.
Hey, this is Sir William of West Pennsylvania. Trains good, planes bad.
In the morning.
All right, I know who the spook was just from listening to their voices.
Oh, I wasn't trying to spot.
Oh yeah, no, Chris Abrams, totally. Listen to that. Listen to his voice. Listen.
No Agenda Swine Flu Minute.
Hi, this is Bob from Annapolis, wishing the new administration lots of luck.
This is Sir Chris Abraham, and I am here. I was actually here early.
Spook. He's the spook.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
No, he's a government. You can tell.
He's got GI, government issue.
He's got that sound. He's got a government.
He's got that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's got that spook sound.
Got that sound.
Here's what's going on the calendar. February 5th, Bellingham, Washington Vaccination Marketing Conference. Yes, that's what we call them these days, the Vaccination Marketing Conference. That will be held at Gruff Brewing, as we do every year when we discuss the marketing, and that's at 8 o'clock. Also on the 5th, Houston Hackers at 6 o'clock at Ninfa's Mexican Cantina. Ninfas, I guess. On the 6th of February, Bozeman, Belgrade, Montana at Bar 3 Barbecue, 2 o'clock MST time. Also on the 6th, Black Knight Big Loaf's No Agenda Bash in the Blaz, B-L-A-Z, 2 p.m. in the greater Raleigh, North Carolina area. And finally on February 6th, Love and Light Winter Boston, Massachusetts, meetup at the Castle Island Brewery at 2:30 Eastern time. These are important for your sanity. Your amygdala will love you forever. And as you can tell, people are having a good time. Dare I say, somehow it's a bit like a party. If you'd like to join one, go to noagendameetups.com. If there's nothing near you, my God, woman, start one yourself.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held lame. You want to be where everybody feels the same.
It's like a party. All right, got a couple of end of show ISOs. You want to select something here? Do you have anything?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Oh, well, I've got this.
We're being boiled like a frog.
Get that one. I have...
Can you clip it?
Okay, that one I like.
Got that one. Do I have anything else? No idea what this is. What is this?
Turn your machines back on!
That's from the Trading Places. You want to clip it? Just have that?
Can you clip it?
Yeah, I think that's cute. Cool. You can hear it. It's clear.
I only have one left that might be worth listening
I got one
to.
left, which deserves some comments, so maybe I should play yours last.
Well, why don't we? Okay. Well, mine. I might not play mine at all, really. What do you got?
Well, mine's not funny.
Neither is mine.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I have Gina McCarthy.
Oh, she's always funny. She's got that brogue. How long has she been in the United States anyway?
Well,
let's go to, here's a clip. This is reopening. I have a question after this clip plays. Okay. Reopening the ACA.
Let's look more closely now at the changes and orders President Biden announced today in health care. As Amna Nawaz explains, the moves are designed to expand coverage and reverse some of President Trump's actions on abortion and family planning.
Judy, a key part of one executive order signed today will reopen enrollment for the Affordable Care Act, what many call Obamacare. Mr. Biden's other executive action will revoke the Mexico City policy, often known as the global gag rule. That rule barred U.S. funding for groups overseas that performed abortions or offered information about them. Covering all of this for the Washington Post is Paige Winfield Cunningham, and she joins me now. Paige, welcome to the News Hour, and thanks for being here. We reported earlier on some of the details around those executive actions. Let's talk about the impact, though. On this first move, reopening enrollment for the ACA from February 15th to May 15th at healthcare.gov. People know that site does not reach every state, right? So how many people and who exactly is the Biden administration trying to reach with this?
Right. Well, as you say, they opened healthcare.gov. There are more than a dozen states that also run their own marketplaces instead of using the federal website. And most of those states have also announced that they're going to be opening their enrollment for that limited time period going up to May 15th. And that's coming. Those announcements have come from California, Minnesota, many of the large states that run their own marketplaces. So really, this decision is going to apply to the vast majority of people in the United States. And what's interesting about this is the pandemic is the reason that the president is citing for doing this. But I actually think the bigger impact is going to be around the timing of this. For years, tax experts have actually said you could maximize enrollment in health coverage if you aligned tax filing season with ACA enrollment. And that's because a lot of lower income people who might be eligible for subsidies but might have trouble affording premiums, if you align that when they're filing their taxes and getting tax refunds back, that could actually help incentivize them.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the clip I wanted.
That's what you asked for.
I know. It's the clip I told you to play.
Is there a different one you want to play?
No, it's too complicated. I will play this one though. Just so I don't feel bad about it. This is the PBS. I call it Goes Hollywood. And so what we have is, those crappy videos that all these Hollywood douchebags put out where you have they had to get cut from person to person to person to person to person with a white background.
We need to live sustainably. I am John Legend. Like that, one of those?
Yeah, the
douchebags.
So PBS decides to do something similar, and here's what you end up with.
But the process of getting that shot can be difficult and overwhelming. We wanted to capture a sampling of what Americans say they're facing.
My name is Nora Galina. I live in Zephyr Hills, Florida.
My name is Andrea Shiloh, and I'm in Houston, Texas.
My name's Helen Marshall. I live in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania.
My name is Kareem Deans, and I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I teach middle school theater in St. Louis right now.
My name is Susan Daniel, and I'm in Dallas, Texas.
My name is Jason Munn, and I'm a letter carrier from Brentwood, New York.
I try every day, multiple times a day, to see if an appointment has opened. Every hour, basically, until I go to bed.
What? Hold on. Well, I don't know what they were trying to do. What was that?
It was terrible.
Well, that was supposed to be like we're all getting the vaccine and we're clicking on the website every minute of the day. Is that what that was?
We can't get. They all want the vaccine. Everybody. They just had a slew of people. We want the vaccine, but we can't get in line. We can't get an appointment. I don't know what we're going to do. Demand's too high.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, demand's too high. Sure. People don't want your stinking vaccine. That's the problem. You do anything Give people lines to look at. Oh, it's a line. Go stand in the line. Jesus. Okay, everybody. The end of yet another No Agenda show. We break it all down for you. We've got the Grumpy Old Bens coming up next on No Agenda Stream. If you're listening to us in the live fashion, we've got end of show mixes from the Thought Doc and M.A. These are relatively new people to the stage, so we look forward to that. And we look forward to seeing you again on Thursday, where we will start at the top, and see how we can punch through the bullcrap. Please remember us at Dvorak.org/NA, coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Texas. It is FEMA region number 6 on the governmental maps if you're looking for it. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where nothing's going on, I'm John C. Dvorak.
And we'll see if anything changes by Thursday. Till then, adios, mofos! And such.
There should be universal wearing of masks. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. There should be universal wearing of masks. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. Common sense. There should be universal wearing of masks. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. Common sense. People wearing masks now is just not relevant. So if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense. Common sense. Common sense. So if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense. Common sense. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. People wearing masks now is just not relevant. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Tony Fauci. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Tony Fauci. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Tony Fauci. My brother. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Tony Fauci. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Tony Fauci. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Tony Fauci. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Tony Fauci. Masks, quite frankly, are more important for people who are infected to prevent them from infecting someone else. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge. Your government thanks you for your participation.
Hey guys! I call bullcrap.
Okay.
Hey citizen, mark of the mask.
I shouldn't be so flippant, but I'm so excited.
I call bullcrap.
Okay. That's how we produce movies. Okay.
I asked my friend who's a nurse, and she agrees.
Bullcrap.
Okay.
Never, ever failed. Policy and science, and science and society.
He's lost his marbles.
Policy and science, and science and society. Beginning with the early computer products, computing products, and when I looked at that, I thought to myself, I mean, how many kids, anyway. Pennsylvania, in Carbon County, in Pennsylvania, about 50 miles south where I was a kid. She dreamed of exploring outer space.
Bullcrap.
That's how we produce movies. Okay.
Inauguration. We can never let down our guard.
Bull crap.
What sounds like macaroni?
Hey guys. Policy and science, and science and society.
He's lost his marbles.
Policy and science, and science and society.
I want some cock and cheese. Okay.
We just received nothing from our community. Fashion range of 34%.
Do enslave me, Kamala.
Oh my gosh! Can you see that juice? Get out of my vagina!
Is that what you guys were drinking up there?
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA